Give me a few minutes. Can you confirm that we are live?
Yes, we are live now.
Okay. Well, good evening, one and all. Welcome to DCL Primetime again. This is your host, as always, Avinash Raghu. And today we do not have Satya with us, so bear with us if there's any technical glitches. All of them are can duly be ascribed to me. Viju, for some reason, has dropped off the call for a bit, but we are hoping that he will join soon. But I am joined by my regular accomplice, Parthiv Mehta. Welcome, Parthiv. And we are also joined at this moment by Dinesh Devraj, who's representing Team UCA. So, Dinesh, great to have you here.
Pleasure, Ismail. Thank you.
So first up, I guess we will start off with the team spotlight. The spotlight for today being shined on Team UCA. And then, of course, we will go on to the analysis of the previous week's games, followed by the predictions for the next week, and of course, top it off with the showcase game of the week. And we will have the captains from those games joining us as we progress on the show. So first and foremost, welcome, Dinesh. Good to have you here. And I guess
Thank you.
You can start off by saying a little bit about Team UCA. I personally played against you guys in the spring tournament a couple of times, and you guys looked like a very promising unit. And it certainly looks like you are holding up to that promise. So it's been a pretty good start.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I could not play that game. Yeah, the one which they played against you. Yeah, I think Neil took it over that game. Okay. Yeah, anyways, yeah, we are a team destined to come together. Let's put it that way. We are new to DCL, but definitely not new to T-ball as such. We've been playing T-ball for 3 years now. And a few people have played for various teams like Safaris. We played, including myself, in 2018, we played for Safaris. 2019, few of us played for Marcos, and here we are. So yeah, that's pretty much a small history of how UCA is UCA right now. Yeah.
Cool. So Dinesh, one of the questions I had while I was doing my little homework on UCA was that pretty much every match you've played so far, you've been chasing and you've been electing to bowl. What's the mantra there? What's the strategy there?
Right. I think that's the big thing. Game one, we needed a feeler into DCL as a team, right? The best way to do that is to take the bull by its horns, and we wanted to take the challenge, and we knew what reputation the Patriots had, so we wanted to challenge ourselves. As simple as that. Big thing is like, didn't we trust our batting? No, we do trust both batting and bowling, as the tournament has shown. It was one of those things. It was rest assured that we could play 25 if we bowled first. That's what it was.
Awesome. Yeah. So what we would like to know, and I'm sure the audience would like to know, is if you can shine some spotlight on some of the players who the league should be looking out for, some of your star performers, and talk to us about why you think they shine above the rest.
Yeah, I think that's what, right? The DCL stats, if you look at the stats, like the player rankings, Srinivas Elumalai should be there. I think the league knows him. They should have already known Srinivas should not be a surprise package. They should have known him from the 2019 DCL itself. And before that, probably Hari Shankar, MVP of Safaris in 2018, and obviously Srini 2019 MVP for Marcos. So these two players they should have known. So right now, if you look at the player stats, Srinivas Elumalai is at 5, And if you look at the batting records, Srini should be there as well. And Srini holds a unique record of having 270 plus points as a player stats, right? So he holds that unique record of both bat and ball, pretty balanced. I think he might be the one player there who has that. I don't know if the entire league or not. At least within the team, he's equally good, right? So that's Srini there. So if you look at, again, most runs scored in the league, Srini's at 7. So in bowling, there should be Chandru Balakrishna. We call him Mokku in the team. So Chandru Balakrishna should be there someplace as well. I forgot. I thought I had a tap. Yeah, he's at number 4 in the bowling records there, right? And even if you look at the fielding records, we should have a couple of representations there as well. So I think it's pretty much there. Yeah, we have number 2 and 3. We have 2 UCA representations there. 3 being Sendil Kumar Ulaganathan. I don't want to talk about number 2, obviously. So there is some representation overall. So as a team, we come with pretty balanced team, I would say, and we all need enough time to click together. That's the big thing, right? We are different pieces, like any new team for that matter, or new team coming together for that matter. It's all different pieces. It all needs to click on the same day. So that's the big thing, and we always hope for that. So that's the spotlight there. But if you look at our scorecard from game 1 on, there have always been a couple of performers there, Hari Shankar and Hemant, who would have held the innings together after whatever happened in the first innings. And I think it could have easily gotten out of hand the very first game, right? And against Thunderbolts as well, is like it was a close game. So that is a brotherly love affair between Thunderbolts and us. So we didn't give up anything. We did fight to as much as we. So that's there. And obviously Dark Horses, we picked up the first win. So that game, if you looked at that game, again, against Thunderbolts, it was Arun and Satya, and even Sheikh played a good role in batting. And bowling, I think pretty much we shared the honors against Thunderbolts. It was all right. And I'm talking of memory. I'm not looking at the scorecard. Against Dark Horses, it was a different. It was a different person that day. Anka was in great rhythm. He ended up bowling all 5. That was his first game. He bowled all 5 out, and it was a good chase. Satya and again Arun played a blinder that day. Srini and Shiva eventually came together, and they provided a very good opening partnership there. So in the next game, it was Sheikh, 5 wickets against Raptors. It's like coming in the middle overs. That was like. That was on par to any middle order bowling we've seen up to date, I think, in the current tournament, at least, or in the current season. So it was Sheikh's day. So if it's not just about one individual, and we don't want to put the own on Srinivas Elumalai, right? So we are all obviously are riding on, piggyback riding on him. That's honestly true. But on the other side, the big success for Srini would be as much pressure we take away from Srini. So meaning is the rest of the team starts performing well, then Srini can play his game. And same thing for us as well. If Srini clicks and the entire team is happy as well. And we don't, as I said, we don't want to be relying only on one particular person. That's too much pressure for a star player there.
Thank you. That was a very good overview. I know it is the first time somebody's actually taken the time to kind of give us an overview of the team and shine some spotlight. You definitely, I mean, Srinivas and I think UCA itself, captured everyone's attention with that, almost, causing the biggest upset of the season. When you guys came 1 run, close, to beating Raptors. Talk to us about. I know it was a tight game. You guys needed 20 runs. Talk to us about like the final moments and what was going on during that time.
Yeah, it was a tough one. We had a big dilemma for that game. The rest of the games, we were all right. If we wanted to bowl first, we were like pretty confident on why we wanted to bowl first against each of these teams, right? That game was pretty difficult. We wanted to bowl. dew/rain, outfield was terrible. Then we were like, we just couldn't decide. And again, that's one of those things is like, if you don't challenge yourself, it's just not going to work, was the mantra again. So we just decided to bowl first to begin with. And I think, again, like the Thunderbolts game, the second half of it is like after the opening partnership, they ended up not playing 25 overs, right? They lost all their wickets. That was a big turning point for us. And we are going to carry that thing. Probably that's the best achievement, not the win. That collapse of Raptors, from what 5 overs they were no loss, or 9 overs they were no loss. I think the openers held fort for a long time. Then pretty much we got them all out. They we truly bundled them out, is how I'd put that, right? Other than that, there are a couple hitters who came down the line and got into us a little bit, but we never gave up. So that was a big thing there. And there was enough momentum. Obviously, one thing we want to point out, there were a few drop catches all around. I think everybody had a fair share. Each one dropped a catch type thing was what was going on. So that was one. But on the other side, right, whatever happens, we do respect whatever Amar did. That was were we taken to the cleaners? No, I wouldn't again call, like the very first game as well. I forgot his name. Is like the Patriots guy he didn't take us to the cleaners too, right? So there was not one bad over. It was combined just one bad ball in each over type thing. So we did play up to potential. So the last few moments, considering that, again, so Shiva and Srini, they gave a very good partnership. Shiva did get lucky a little bit, but overall, but still, again, everybody got chances in that game. We had to put our foot down. Srini played a beautiful inning. Shiva did well. And Gopi came in. Gopi has a reputation in the T-ball league. He shouldn't be any surprise. I think Satya, I wish Satya was here. He's played a very good innings a couple of years back in another T-ball tournament. So Gopi is not alien to playing those sorts of innings. He can take the game to any opposition, any bowler for that matter. And he's got a unique style. He's got probably the best golf swing, I would say. So that was them. Then the last moments, I think we did panic towards the end of it because it was so close. I think I wish it wasn't that close and we needed more in the final over. We would have gone berserk. It's like when you need that 7 runs, it's like difficult. Do you want to do a Dhoni? Do you want to keep rotating, or you want to go for it type of thing? And the people sitting outside is like, it's divided like 3 votes each, right? One wants to rotate. The other guy wants is like, yeah, keep, move across and swing to the leg side. So that type thing was going on. So there was a little bit panic which set in, but that Ashok Bhavnam's over turned it, 3 wickets in that over. And Ashok played with us last winter in a T-ball tournament. People know how he bowls. They should have played him out, was my thought process. But again, I did not bat. So in the middle, whatever happened. So it was good. Overall, it was good. I think good for cricket. We were satisfied, but there's still a lot to be improved from our perspective there, right? So every ball matters. Even I think when you lose by 1 run, I'm thinking down the leg side, I didn't gather a ball too well. It hit my glove and rolled to the fence and they ran one. I'm thinking, damn, if only I had stopped that one, probably the match would have been tied, right? So at that point, everyone made a mistake. Everyone is blaming not each other. They're blaming themselves, man. That day, I think after that, everyone was like, man, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done this, is what was going on there. So good, yeah. Final moments. I wish we could bring it back again. But
well,
yeah,
it's those percentage games where you then start thinking of every little thing that probably went wrong and
right.
Dissect and analyze and all that, right? But one thing I've seen over time as I've watched you guys is you've steadily progressed from a team that was scoring barely 50 odd in the spring tournament. I see that you've gone by leaps and bounds to a point where you almost you gave an almighty scare to the Raptors and almost pulled off a win. So how have you enabled this progress? What has caused this team that looked very promising, again, like I said, but
right.
Definitely very few people would have thought that you would come this far this quickly? So, how have you thought about this rise, so to speak?
No, that's what I said. I think the big thing is like everyone can bat a ball. That's the big thing here. Is everyone understands cricket. Let me put it that way, right? So that point of view, that's very important. We've tried. It's a culmination of 3 seasons together. So winter, spring, and the season halfway through. And Srini and a few of like Sendil, Arun, Thani, those guys, they did play as, even Kasha for that matter, Suryan. So they all played as local boys. They played together as a team. So they have that experience of running a team themselves. And Gopi and I have been doing this for 2.5, 3 years now. So it's just that experience which is coming out, and there's a very big support factor called Ratna played in that game. Ratnagiri is a big support. He's the visionary from UCC to UCA. So it's a combination of different minds together. And Moku right now is a good addition. That is like Chandra Balakrishnan is a good addition. So it's not just one individual. There is a lot of brainstorming going on. We don't analyze the game too much. We understand where the mistake was. There's like those 2 minutes after the game is where we talk, and we just leave it at that. We do not plan for opposition. We do not. If you look at our group chats, it's like show up on time. That's the only message which goes up, right? Other than that, too much planning does not work, and that's not how cricket happens. You have to react to the instance or the situation. Is like too much is like. I mean, I've read a optimization article where for a team to perform well, you should not have a set batting order. That's what statistical optimization of the cricket game says. Okay, so anyone who has a set batting order is playing against what the math says. It's not Moneyball. This is a paper. If I can find that paper, this was like 10, 12 years ago when I bumped into that paper. If you want, I can find the paper and send it to the league. But that's what stats says. So we've tried different combinations there. Srini opens. Srini has come in the middle order. Sendil has opened. Sendil has come in the middle order. So each one has that temperament. I think it's the big thing is the temperament which you need to build. Once you build the temperament, I think you're fine. It's the confidence of anyone can click on the day, right? There's going to be a big collapse for any big team, small team, a basement team, big team, whichever team is going to have a collapse there, right? But you just have to have the confidence that someone is going to perform on that given day. So that's the confidence which we've built, and it didn't come easy. Let me be honest, it did not come easy. We did not win right away during the summer. We did not win all the games, and it's come up. And again, we've just won one game, right? I'm surprised we got the invite. We just won, statistically, we won just one game. We performed well consistently. 4 games played, 25 overs. So all of that adds together at the end. It's not one particular reason or one particular individual.
And that's what we look to do on the team spotlight section, right? We follow the teams that have more so the newer teams, at least initially, that have joined, and so we obviously your performances have garnered attention. It's yes, like you said, we have just been one win thus far out of 4 or 5 games. How many have you played? But that's been steady improvement. It's not like you kept getting just shown up on the field and kept getting walloped. So and I think the last performance. I think was
yes.
We decided to have it, and I must admit it's refreshing to have someone like yourself on the show with the kind of candor that you brought to the show, and just and show the spotlight on your team, which is exactly what we would expect from a captain. So it's
appreciate it.
Thank you, Dinesh. Yeah, absolutely.
No problem.
Yeah.
I heard Viju's German Shepherd at least, right? Was it German?
Yeah, it's my German Shepherd in the background. I have two German Shepherds and one Rottweiler. So one of the German Shepherds is making the noise. But Dinesh, sorry for being late. I had some connectivity issues. I'm not sure about all the questions which was asked. But I was just listening keenly to what you were saying. I wanted to first off compliment you for you speak very well. So just as a person, I just wanted to say, hey, you speak well. There are many captains who cannot articulate what they have in their mind and what. So the ability to articulate, you certainly have the gift for that. So congrats. But coming back to your team again, the idea is to shine the spotlight on your team. You asked why you got the invite. I don't think we hand out an invite just for that. We actually, the four of us, deliberate on who we should invite. And we always feel it should be something which we can put it out to the league where people get to know your team. So obviously the new teams, in that sense, we want to introduce that new team because, okay, a team like, Pokeries or Glads or Strikers, many of us can tell before I go to a game, I can probably tell which out of 11, maybe 9 or 10, I can probably name is going to be in the playing 11 kind of a thing. But when it comes to a team like yours, we do not know anything, or many of us don't. But in your case, it's actually slightly different. I do know some of the Marcos players, not as personally, but I have seen them in action a couple of years ago, and we have played against them. And I had a very healthy respect for what they brought on the field and the way they went about business. Very professional attitude and very good attitude. Yes, they might have lost big, but when you look and talk to that person, that the kind of attitude which they bring. They're very eager learners and things like that. So I think you got some very good players from Marcos. Srinivas Elimale himself is an excellent player, actually. So that's the reason why I was picking UCA at the beginning. I knew there would be, whenever you put together a bunch of guys, there is always going to be some time for the chemistry to set in before you can probably win that small battles, you see. And eventually many small battles make up the big battle, if you ask me. So in this case, you had very good pieces coming in, and then you had some of these other guys. Maybe you guys played a lot together before, but again, I think once again, coming into DCL, it's a 25-over game versus a 20-over game. There are nuances which are slightly different, but I was expecting right away some big wins. My fellow analyst Partho, who's the number one analyst, picked against you guys, and he won every single time. So I think after three games and 3 losses, I gave up, you see. But when you played against Raptors, I think that really opened the eye. Again, I think now the full potential of the team came out. Hey, if they can almost take Raptors to the cleaners and almost beat them, wherein it would have been the biggest upset of the season if you had beaten Raptors. But many of us were watching this game very closely, and I remember Parthiv texting me, "Hey, Raptors is in trouble," and things like that. So we were following the game very closely. Going back to the Raptors game, I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 things which probably you as a skipper would have said, "Hey, if I had put my foot down and made that decision happen, the outcome could have been different." Can you just take us through anything which stands out in your mind? Again, that might be good for your players also to know, because, hey, the skipper wanted this, but he didn't get it. And it has happened in my career in the past where I wanted somebody to do something, and they had a better idea, but ultimately I was right and they were wrong. But we lost the game for that reason. But then I decided, okay, I'm the skipper, I'm going to take the blame either ways, you see. So might as well take the blame after I make the decision, and I'll live to that. If my decision didn't work out, at least fair game kind of a thing. So over to you.
Right. Okay. Let me confess, the big thing which I want to confess right at the beginning was Srini and Moko. So that is like Chandra Balakrishna. We call him Moko if you join.
Okay.
So Srini and Chandra are the ones who've been doing the on-field calls. So I'm here for the articulation, as you said, for the articulation capacity is where I'm here. But on the other side, I have let aside leading into the season. So Srini did that and Moku. So it is a combined effort on the field. So we have a set plan of who's going to open the bowling, right? At least the first 3 overs or first 4 overs. The first spell we decide, or the first 2 overs we decide. And based off of that, there is always a quick eye-to-eye situation. We just discuss on field pretty quick, and we just like, and now what's going to happen here, and now what's going to happen there, and that type thing happens, and we go. So it is a combined skippering effort, if you will. I don't know, good or bad. I think that is part of our vision, is to get this sort of a combined thing going. So that way, one particular person is not taking the pressure. So that being said, in that combined effort, what changed was, I think we did not bowl well in the first half of the game, right? So that was a big turning point. During that opening partnership, we did not bowl well, was one, and the catching was bad. Let me put it that way. All of us on the boundary dropped 1. So all of our boundary riders for that day dropped 1, which is not how things should have worked. And that's been a major issue throughout. And we are getting better. And eventually the same people were able to hold on to the chances. The big regret was we let ourselves down. Then the opposite beat us, is how we've been thinking of all 4 games, because of certain mistakes, especially the fielding side of things, which we are trying to improve. So that's the big major improvement we want to be really honest, to the league and to your question, catching.
Okay, fair enough.
Great.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it to Avi to ask additional questions if he has.
No, it's time for us to move on to our next section, which is the review of the previous week's game. So I'd just like to say, Dinesh, thank you so much. Like I said, I can quite confidently say you've been, I think, the best that we've had thus far on the team spotlight. I think you've been all of us' favorite. Just the way you've gone about addressing the questions and explaining about your team. So Dinesh, thank you so much again for taking the time. And
Pleasure.
so freely. It's such a pleasure. Unfortunately, we have to move on. I would have loved to keep you on and keep this discussion going for a while.
That's all.
Dinesh, I just wanted to say you did a fabulous job. I wish every skipper who comes on realizes that when you're a skipper, you have a responsibility not just to the team, but also to yourself, to come out and put the best image for your team, because you speak on behalf of everybody. And if the skipper doesn't do a good job, and sometimes when we ask questions and if we don't get that specific answer, you're not really doing anybody any service. And I think that's what Avi was referring, where you answered the question best of all the people who have come. But you did a fabulous job. Hats off. If you continue doing the same kind of job on the field, I think the wins are going to come around the corner. But I think you have some very good players on your team. So talent-wise, I don't think you have the problem. So I think it's just ironing out a few details here and there. And then, the 3 losses could very well have been 2-2, or,
Right.
instead of 1-3 and things like that. So it makes a difference in the long run. So thanks for coming on. Wonderful to put a face next to it, so I know how the person looks now. So that's one of the good things in this whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, German
Thank you,
Shepherds.
Dave.
Thanks, Avi, and thanks, Parthiv, as well. See you guys.
Thank you. See you guys.
As well as the keep it up.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next up, moving on, it's time for to bring on Parthiv with the review of the previous week's games, and I will put up that list of the games such that so that Parthiv can go.
Yeah, Aviv. Yeah. Let's go through the list. Just make sure we are in the same order.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is the screen up?
Yeah, so the SSK Thunderbolts, I was thinking, SSK is definitely gaining in confidence. Electing to bowl and putting the opposition in is definitely a sign that the team is maturing.
Okay.
Yes. So I wouldn't have guessed that SSK would do that, 2 seasons or 1 season before. But now SSK is gaining much more confidence. They are looking like a team that actually can compete. And if you look at the score, again, Thunderbolts team, the batting lineup never really got started. They kept losing wickets after wickets. and only managing around 70 odd. And with this ball, I've mentioned it over and over again in our previous episodes. Gone are the times when you can actually score 70 and 80 and even have a chance to kind of defend it. It really requires
Right.
some outstanding bowling up front to actually make that happen. It was only because of some handy runs at the bottom of the order. If you look at it carefully, the ninth wicket put on that 20 odd runs, and that's why it even looks like something of a scoreboard. Otherwise, Thunderbolts would have folded in 50 odd or something. And SSK on the other hand didn't start really well. I mean, they too lost a lot of wickets up front, but uh, Yuvraj, I think he single-handedly kind of held the innings together for both for SSK. And one of the common themes, if you, I was, as I was analyzing through the games, you would see on anything on July 18th, like the Sunday, uh, all the games were first played on the Novi Power Park. That is one common. And then the other common theme was pretty much everything was low scoring. Everything, if you look at it, is 70s, 80s, 70s, 80s. And I don't know whether it was the rain overnight that made it happen, that affected the pitch, or the outfield was slow and it was difficult to get those boundaries. But all those games were any team batting first either wasn't able to score more than 70 or 80, and even the team scoring second managed to get that score, but wasn't able to kind of really, like, say, we chased it with ease. So that's something which I think might have happened. Overnight rain in Michigan. We've been seeing rain pretty much every weekend, and it's a nightmare for the committee. But it is what it is right now. So Thunderbolts, I think, have enjoyed a good run until now, but now is the real test which is coming up. We talked to them about their wonderful run so far last week, but now is the real test. And next week is going to be a really interesting battle because they take on Dynamites. And I know for sure there are a lot of Dynamite players who have either moved to Thunderbolts or moved from Thunderbolts to Dynamite. They have like cross pollination. So it'll be interesting to see among friends and foes what happened.
Great. Yeah, definitely look forward to that one.
Avi, on this one, I just wonder, I'm trying to keep my color commentary low, a little bit shorter, because to see if we can wrap this in a much faster time today. I thought the SSK bowlers, especially Priyesh and Kalyan, were excellent. When I went back and looked at the 4 games which SSK has played, these 2 bowlers stand out, because when I look at Priyesh's figures in the 4 games that he played, he has bowled a total of 19 overs and he has given only 52 runs. He has taken 8 wickets. But the most amazing thing is that he has only given 3 wides in that pretty much almost 20 overs that he bowled. So in 4 games, he has given 3 wides. And when I look at Kalyan, he has also bowled close to 20 overs, 19 overs, 50 runs, 7 wickets, but he has given only 2 wides. So in other words, in 4 games, he's giving 2 wides. So you're talking about 2 bowlers, that is almost 10 overs every game, and they are not going for more than 2.5 runs a game, an over. And then on top of that, they are giving you 1 wide between both of them combined. So in 10 overs, you're getting 1 wide, whereas you will see that in most cases, a lot of teams, especially Brownstown, etc., give a lot of wides, you see. So you see that wides oftentimes becomes the highest scorer or the second highest scorer and things like that. So when somebody has to beat SSK, basically what SSK is saying is, hey, beat us fair and square. We are not going to gift you this on a silver platter to you. So I think that's one of the reasons why they have been doing well, has been they have been able to cut out all the freebies and they are making you earn it. So I think on the bowling department, SSK is really good. It's on the batting department where they seem to be a little suspect. So if you can put 95, 100 runs on the board, then that becomes a challenge for them. But getting that 95, 100 runs is probably going to be a challenge for you, because they are going to make you earn it. So that's what I wanted to say on that.
And that's a very astute observation, Vijay. And I think it's observations like that that will actually make the show the special show that it is. So kudos to you on that analysis, Vijay. Next up, Parthiv, for you, I guess Punjab Warriors versus Pokies.
Yeah, so this was, I mean, the learning period for Punjab Warriors continues. At the start of the season, uh, with the start with they had with I think they beat Micah. They scored like 190 runs, and it felt like there was a new team which was calling out. It was something where they were standing out from all the new teams. We have four new teams: Micah, AR Phantoms. We have UCA, who we just talked to, and Punjab Warriors, and they definitely stood out at the start of the season. But slowly, as these weeks unfold and the season unfolds, I'm starting to see them kind of dwindling into becoming an average team from what looked like a really emerging team. UCA has taken over that mantle. Definitely, UCA is looking at a team which is best amongst the newer lot, and the famed batting order or the famed batting of Punjab Warriors has hasn't shown that prowess which they started with, the swag which they started with Micah, and looks very fragile every game as we progress, and they've been scoring lower and lower as each game goes through. On the Procre side, I think great to see Prasanna back. I think Ravi Narala is playing, making sure he has the strategy to make sure Prasanna is qualified well and before the playoffs start. So we'll probably see him in a couple of more games before the playoff unfolds. But it's good to see him back. He added wickets to his wicket columns. He scored runs, patient 12 just to get Pokris out of there was a time when Pokris lost a few wickets in a bunch, and they had no reason to lose 6 wickets while chasing 13. But I think one of the conscious things, I don't know if it's consciously done or was it the game, the just how the game folded. But scoring 76 in 13, I think Pokris definitely helped their net run rate. I was seeing that the table, and Pokris are number 4, but the top 3 teams like GLCC, Glads, and I think Sterling Strikers have a plus run rate. It's more like 2 plus and 3 plus and 4 plus. And Pokris has just now got into a positive territory. So I'm not sure if it was intended, but Ravi Narala did a good job, and the team did a good job of finishing the game. Even though they lost 6 wickets, they made sure they scored in a hurry and
I believe so.
got the win.
It was on purpose. I know there was some. I didn't play the game, but I was there watching it after a certain point. There was some grumbling towards the end that maybe we should have probably chased it down for the loss of much lesser wickets than the Pokiris did, as well as chased it maybe slightly faster. I'm not very well versed with all the bonus points system and all that, but I know there was some grumbling towards the end. But I think there was definitely a concerted effort to chase this down in quick time.
Yeah, with that said, I think it is a great strategy. I think that's probably will play if the top 4 teams are equal on points. Net run rate will come into play. So will the bonus point. But the bonus point is generally like as long as you score 90% of the runs in less than 90% of the overs, that's fine. But I think this definitely helps boost the net run rate. So, but I'm still looking out for Vicky and Sathish to fire. Those are my 2 best players from the Pokri side. No, Avi don't mind, but those people I always look out for. I look out for when I see Pokris. So they're yet to fire, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be. If Pokris have to reach far, they ought to come to the party very soon.
Absolutely. And I think one thing I'd like to point out there was the fact that Neelakantan also picked up 5 wickets. I unfortunately wasn't there for the Pokeri's bowling innings, but I was told that he was pretty much like unplayable most of the time. Did end up going at 5 and over, but I was told that he was quite difficult to get off. So, and I think that is reflected at least in the wickets column. So, good all-round show there for Neil, and I think a good outing for Pokies in general.
Yeah, Avi, Prasanna Govind also had a very good game, at least with the ball, at least based on the figures. 3.4 and 8 runs and three wickets. That's a pretty good outing, according to me. And but all in all, most of the bowlers already had a good day. But I think it is a great comeback win for Pokris, especially after the previous week. And I think the previous week has to be just forgotten because that happens to any team in DCL. I think the longer you play, you realize that you probably have a bad day every now and then. And I think Pokri should take a um, great consolation in the fact that Punjab Warriors actually came up with one of their best teams. This is the kind of team which I was expecting Punjab Warriors to field earlier. And if I had known that if Punjab Warriors was coming with this kind of lineup where Indrapreet and Amrinder Pal and Prithpal and Manjinder and Ranveer, they are the Fab Five, and Gurdeep himself is also a decent player. So I feel that that was a very good lineup which Gurdeep could put up. So he got his wish list, but I think it is the brilliance of Pokris which took away the game. And I would have expected Pokris to struggle a little more than this kind of figures, because I think these figures are pretty lopsided. This tells me that Pokris won it fair and square, very handily. And I thought Neil was the pick of the bowlers in the sense that he took that 5-wicket haul. And I think if I had to borrow a dialogue from a film, it would be that the Punjab batsman, after seeing Neil bat, said, "Tumko utakar museum mein rakhna chahiye. Ticket lagni chahiye tumhe dekhne ke liye." Do you know which movie that's from, Parthiv? Is the movie buff? I
have no clue.
I think it is Jab We Met or something like that.
Probably before.
I don't know. But anyways, somebody sent me that dialogue and I said, well, that looks to be a pretty good dialogue. So let me use that. And then, but I think Neil was that good. He was definitely, I think DCL should pay money to see him bowl. When he's on song, he can be a handful. And when he bats also, he can be a handful. So Pokris definitely have a good player in him. And I think this was a good win for Pokris.
Absolutely. Next up, Parthiv, Indus Thunders versus Patriots. Now, this one was a bit of a surprise package. I think all of us, I believe, got tripped up. Unless you got this one right, Parthiv. I don't know.
No. I should have asked Sandeep what 11 he's going with. I think I had asked him in the first episode, if I remember correctly, that how is he going to accommodate such a big, talented, long squad and still be able to win every game and give everyone a chance? And I think that answer was probably this weekend. I think the experimentation, I'm all for experimentation, but not at the cost of losing a game. I think this, Sandeep has not only experimented with new players and without the likes of Manoj and Dinesh and Jalaj and those people, but also if you look at it, the batting lineup is upside down. You see Vijay Verma, Abhishek Sankari at the bottom, like number 9 and 10 and 11. And it's all about.
Call it upside down, though. That's still a pretty solid batting lineup that you see there.
It is a solid batting lineup, but then sending Vijay Verma, he's probably used to the Sehwag kind of a start where he just wants to clobber the new ball all away. But then sending him when you desperately need like 10 runs and it's the last wicket, I think maybe it's not he's not used to that situation. So I'm all very impressed with Vikram Sehgal. He's the youngest guy, youngest kid in DCL. Good to see him get the opportunity to open and get some runs. That's always encouraging from the league point of view. But I still feel like there was too much experimentation. In spite of the experimentation, they still had Bangera, they had Sandeep himself, they had Vijay Verma, as you mentioned, and they had Sandeep, the left arm spinner who they introduced this game. So they were still, I think, in a good position. Yeah, they were still in a good position to kind of chase 74. They should have been able to chase that, even though they were without their main lineup and experimenting. But somehow they failed to get across the line. And credit must be given to Patriots bowling. Rajashekhar Reddy, I remember the Patriots captain who had come here. He had mentioned, look out for this guy, Rajashekhar Reddy, and he has been performing. We haven't mentioned him in a couple of our shows, but he has been among the wickets. He, along with Narendra Anne, basically, cleaned up Thunders, at regular intervals. They just keep picking wickets. I think they had 7 to 8 wickets between them. And whether this decision of Indus Thunders to actually experiment at this early stage and losing a game, losing those 5 crucial points, will they rue that fact? That only time will say, because when come playoffs and when your seeding is up on the line, those 5 points will be very, very expensive for them to lose.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I don't think they lost. I think I thought Indus got the bonus point, but I could be.
Yes.
I mean, so. But here is the thing. But nevertheless, there is no. They have no business losing this game, Parthiv. Let's be honest. Okay, let's call it for what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. Here is the thing. If Sandeep Gopu is going to lose a game with this kind of lineup which he has, I don't care who you send opening and who goes lower down. But this lineup which you're looking at, you have Sandeep and Bangera and Varma and Sandeep himself, Yeruva, Madhusudan Haveri, Chetan Dushan Vijay. That's their lineup, And all you can do is bring in Manoj Singh and Dinesh Pandeti into this lineup. All right. So those are the only two guys which I think you can bring into this lineup and take two guys out of this lineup. All right. And my feeling there is that, that's a top-notch lineup, whichever way you look at it. And for this kind of a lineup, even without those two guys, you're telling me that they could only score 64 runs. I think the rest of the league is not going to be running scared of you. They're going to be saying that, hey, yeah, the Indus batting lineup looks very suspect. This is what we said about the FCC batting lineup, Partha, remember last week. We said that we were not convinced about the FCC batting lineup.
Yep.
And now, right now, when you look at the Indus batting lineup, I have to pretty much say that, you know what, maybe it is better than the FCC batting lineup, but I have some big question marks over that. And this game, the Patriots exposed the chink in the armor. And of course, by winning this game, I think Patriots are back in the mix. They shocked the champions. Parthiv, I'm speechless. I'm without speech. I can't even understand how sitting 10,000 miles away, I could have never predicted this. I like fairy tales, and let me tell you that I like fairy tales not because they say that dragons exist, but I like fairy tales because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. And if you ask me, Thunders, they lost Deepak Giriyappa, but they had an equally good bowler in the form of Sandeep. And so they remain the bowling dragon of DCL. And how Gopu managed to lift Sandeep from the Raptors roster and bring them to the Indus roster is a mystery. I think we need to do some detective work as to how did he manage this, But yeah, all credit to him. I mean, this is a fabulous lineup. But having said that, I thought that the Patriots did a fantastic job making sure that, if Thunders were thinking of an unbeaten season, they can forget about that right now because this loss pretty much knocks that equation out of the lineup. But more importantly, I think coming into the playoffs, that seedings are going to change now, you see, and now all of a sudden they're going to find that, they might have to play a top-notch team earlier than they were expecting to play. But again, I think Naresh Sundar had a fantastic game. And again, Nitin, when he came on the show, he did tell us that, watch out for Rajsekhar and Naresh Sundar and Sai Kiran Tota. But Narendra Ane, I think, did a fantastic job with the ball. Both Rajsekhar and Narendra Ane, I think, put the kibosh on Indus Thunders, and they took the thunder out of the Thunders. It's a great win for Patriots. I think this is a bad loss for Thunders. There is no way to put it other than put it that way. And if Sandeep Gopu, if this was the cup of eternal life, and if this was the cup of perpetual life, Sandeep Gopu came into this game drinking from this cup of perpetual life. And by the time he finished the cup, all he saw was a dead beetle at the bottom of the cup, telling me this cup of perpetual life is not getting the job done. And so I think Indus Thunders will have to go back to the drawing board and seriously think about it, because this has a habit of showing up in future games too, because I think this was a very bad performance. There is no other way to put it.
I still think Thunders will top the table by virtue of looking at how Raptors are doing and dropping some of the bonus points. So it is a clash between Raptors and Thunders who takes the pole position in Pool A, but I still favor Indus Thunders to do the honors.
But Parthiv, here is the thing: you can top Pool A, but here is the problem. I mean, when they are going to arrange the seedings 1 through 16, you know that there's a lot more than just topping your seeding.
Right.
You can top your pool and still be the number 5 team or number 6
yep.
team. You are not going to be 1, 2, 3, or if you're not 1 or 2 or even 3 or 4, then you have a problem. You get my point? So
yep.
you definitely want to get away from live to fight another day if you don't have to play a top-notch team right in the first round, you see.
Agreed. Well,
absolutely, that's a good point.
Time to move on, gentlemen. So next game is MCC Miles versus GLCC. Nothing much really to talk about there, I guess, for the MCC Miles.
Yeah, I think this should be a quick one. I think it was, based on last week's performance, I thought MCC Miles season was back on track. But again, their batting failure time and time again. I've been keep saying, Sanjay is key, and his failure is almost equivalent to MCC Miles' batting failure, and that keeps happening over and over again. And GLCC, I mean, again, they lost 6 wickets. I don't know, like what went wrong. Maybe it was, the smaller total, which meant that they probably got confused as to how to go about it. They lost a few wickets, but in the end, if you see the two veterans, the two pillars GLCC had, it was 6 for 28 at one point of time. So it was a little dicey at that time. A little scared.
And Sanjay after the game was ruining the fact that both Ashraf as well as Samish gave them chances, both of which were put down, which probably turned the story.
That would have made it interesting. So it was at one point of time a little bit worried, even though it was a lower totals, they were 6 for 28, but both Ashraf and Samish, put their heads down, got them through, and GLCC keeps rolling. I'm sure GLCC would, take this as a learning experience, and every team has that, hurdle or hiccup in between. But glad that they didn't lose any points.
Right.
Avi, in the interest of time, I'm going to pass my comments on this one, other than saying that Miles probably need Ram Saladi and Ajay Bhatt to come back and say that, hey, we need to do something better. I think sitting back and saying, hey, I'll let the young guys run the show. Yeah, that is nice, good delegation. But you know what? You still need that experience, and they need to bring their experience and show up and motivate these guys. And I think sometimes the slip between the cup and the lip is very small. And I think in this particular game, MCC Miles paid that price. But hopefully Ram Saladi and Ajay Bhatt will say that, you know what, we need to step in. I mean, I sit 10,000 miles away, but I am intimately involved with most of the Glad's decisions. You're right. I don't make the spot-to-spot decision on the field, but what I'm saying is game strategy, planning, deciding what we are going to do and what we want to achieve in a game. All that is discussed throughout the week, and I think I'm not sure if Miles are doing that. And when the Glad's batting was not clicking the first 2 weeks, I insisted to Satya, this thing has to happen, especially because we do not practice. This has to happen in this game, especially coming into the Pokhari's game, that to fix that Glad's batting, and we fixed it. So that's what needs to happen. I think that's probably not happening.
Absolutely. And so at this point of time, I'd like to welcome the captains from the showcase game of the week. I suppose Satish Kumar Belamkonda from Team Legends. Welcome to the show, and it's glad to have you here. I know we've had you before, and it's a real pleasure to welcome you back.
Yeah, thanks, Avi. Thanks, everyone.
And,
good to be back again.
Yes, and moving from portrait to landscape to portrait back again, I believe, and it says the name is iPhone, but I'm assuming that is Mr. Hari Parangusan from Team Blasters.
Yes,
Hari,
sir. How are you, Dinesh?
Very good.
Hari, I'm hoping you're not driving.
No. I'm in the parking lot waiting for my daughter, so I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Now, we did hear that I believe you had a bit of a time crunch, Hari. So I think we will go on to the showcase game of the week, if you don't mind. Mix up
Sure.
a little bit, gentlemen. And then we can resume the reviews from the previous week's games and also predict the games that are upcoming this weekend. But for the analysts, the vote for the showcase game of the week, and I believe rightfully so, only time will tell, but I believe we are right in calling the Legends versus the Blasters game as the showcase game of the week. And that is why we have the respective captains representing their teams. So hopefully you're going to give us a great game. How do you guys both feel? Hari, I guess I'll let you go first.
Yeah, thanks Avinash, and thanks everyone for having me on this show. I've been watching this show for quite frequent, whenever I get some time to watch, and it's really interesting always to watch for Mr. Viju. I don't know, I didn't hear him yet. Viju, you there?
I am very much here. Hold on.
Hello, hello.
Yeah,
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing very well. I have been waiting to see you, my friend. Let me tell you that. Okay,
Okay.
I have a number of questions for you, and it's fun to have you. But here is the thing, Hari. I mean, I always like to see some of these old faces back,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
same here.
brings back good memories, and I look at it as a great opportunity to showcase the game. And you have done so much for the league. There are many people who do not know that. I hopefully
Yeah,
want to highlight some of that, but
thank
when
you.
we go along. But I
Yep,
am so happy to see you. All right. So
yep,
I
thank
wanted
you,
to see
thank
you
you.
the last week, but now I
Yeah.
got you, so that's good.
Yeah, the last week there was a power outage at my home, so I
Yeah.
couldn't connect. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, thanks again. Thanks for having me. So, Avinash, regarding the showcase game of the week, I know Sathish is there, and he's my good friend. They have a very great team, and this is our third game. What happened to our two games, but we are pretty much prepared for the legends, and they have a great side. I know they have Harish, they have Mr. Satish himself, and Srikant Narne. We have been playing, together in the Stars team back in Michigan Cup from last couple of years. So they have very great talent in the team, and of course, our team, my team also have a great talent in in our 11. Hopefully, this game going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it definitely. They have a good batting lineup and good bowling lineup as well. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm sure this game is going to be a very good and interesting game, unlike the last week one.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Hari, your question for you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yep.
Blasters team is like a acquisition from so many teams, so many other teams. You have Blasters, you have Falcons, you have some other people who have joined in. It's a brand new team. Talk to us about, how did you come about with this team, and what's the philosophy behind,
So,
Falcons not
it-
being there and this Blasters now coming along.
no, like I know that's we have been actually Imti and myself work at the same place, so we know each other from a long time. And Blazers, they have a great team as well, and we have been talking about it to play together. And also, myself, Imti, Srikant Narne, like Harish, as I said before, and so there are some of other guys who have been playing together as a Stars team in Michigan Cup from
Mhm.
last 2 years. And you guys know that we have won back to back in 2019 and
Yep.
2018 and 19. So as when we have our winning parties, we thought, okay, let's put a team together, and it would be a great team with the great additions, everyone. But we have to made up this decision in the last minute, so that's why most of the people couldn't join us because of their commitments with their other home teams. So I couldn't force everybody, but since we work close, working each other, so we thought, okay, this is the time, maybe let's put it together because it's a great DCL 25th of the year. So we thought, okay, let's put this here and then go from there. So hopefully, maybe going forward, the other guys might join us. That's too early to say, but that's how we started and put it together.
I'm not surprised
Wow.
you're trying to put together the stars in DCL, but that'll probably cause upheaval in every single team that's on
Okay.
DCL.
So,
Like
we
Satish
so
giving us
we should.
something, yeah, good luck trying that.
Yeah. That was the
So
initial
is
plan, Avinash. But like every person has their own commitments with the other they have been playing with other teams, so they couldn't come out because we had to make up this mind. We had to make up this decision in the last minute, and I could not, resist. I could not say that I can please join me because they have their own commitments.
Right.
so I think it's a kind of a warning bell for all DCL captains. Hold on to your players.
Exactly.
It's always there, Parthi. Like people will be moving here and there. It depends upon their other, priorities. So it's always there.
Right. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So, between the two of the legends and blasters, so who do you think are the when you compare one-on-one battles? Who do you think is going to be the key battle for us to watch?
No, I would say like from our side, we have Ravi Teja. He's a great all-rounder. He's a very good batsman, I would say, and also we have Deepak, and we have Imti. We have a great bowling attack with Naresh and Mahesh in the batting order. So it's a pretty much equally distributed team, and even the same thing with legends. They have Gautam, who joined their team. Is a very good batsman, and Sathish himself and Narne. We know Narne very much because he's a very excellent bowler. And Harish, of course, I don't need to tell anything about Harish. He's an excellent all-rounder. He can do many things. So they have a good team. So these are the petty, people from both sides who could be competitive to each other playing.
Cool.
And also I would say myself, because my highest score was with Legends against Legends in 2019. So I'm looking forward to it.
I was about to add that you were the best performer in 2019 Legends Falcons game, right? So how did you do yourself?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, Satish. Let's see how it goes. It's not always. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah.
Arthur, we are done.
Yeah. Go ahead, Viju. Always.
Okay, I wanted to ask Satish because I have a number of questions for Hari, so I was going to keep Hari for the second one. So Satish, your batting is clicking, your bowling is clicking. What do you see is not clicking?
What do you see
If
is
you,
not.
yeah, if you had to pick, for example, when we played, when Glatz played the first two games, I was very vocal with my team. I said our batting stinks. I said that straight on the face of the Glatz players. You guys are stinking. And I was very, very vociferous about it. You see, and I said it on the show too, the Glatz batting stinks. And if I think it stinks, it stinks. That's it. So I'm saying is, in your case, your batting is working, your bowling is working. As a captain, what bothers you? Is there anything which bothers you, or is everything pitch perfect? I find it very difficult to believe that everything is pitch perfect. I don't know. Yeah. I have never found anything pitch perfect to my liking. Always there will be something or the other which I can pick at. So I'm asking you as a skipper, is there something which bothers you or something which is not clicking?
Yeah, definitely, Vijay. So even myself, I don't believe everything is clicking at this point in time. Looking at our previous experience with the prior week with the Detroit Bulls, one thing is leaking. We leaked a lot of runs in between middle of the overs, where we could control. The batsman was literally running between the wickets by pushing the ball directly to our fielders. So that is something which is in my mind right now. I've actually started working on that. No complaints, as I said, on the batting side at least. Only I would say fielding and in middle overs, the control of the bowling. That is something which is clearing my mind.
Okay. Next question. Mm-hmm. Again, I asked some tough questions, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. The quarterfinals of the DCL is tomorrow. Give me Satish's best estimate of the 8 teams that will make the quarterfinal, which you think will be there in the quarterfinal. 8 teams which will be there in the quarterfinal. Tomorrow is the DCL quarterfinal, not the pre-quarterfinal. I didn't ask for 16 teams. I asked for 8 teams. So give me Satish's 8 teams which he expects to see in tomorrow's quarterfinal.
Okay, so first let me.
You don't have to be modest or anything. That's fine. I mean, I'm just asking you a point blank question. And guess what? Everybody in the league wants to hear what Satish has to think. Also, you get my point. After all, you're one of the top teams. Everybody would like to know what you think. I mean, I certainly would like to know what you think. I mean, it's a different thing, but what reality is. Reality is going to be discovered over the next 1 or 2 months. But I still, as a competitor, I would like to know what my fellow competitor thinks.
Yeah. So I will start with my team itself first, because I would like to give you prior to that. So I would see Legends themselves one of the 8 teams, and then I'll start with Indus Tenders, Glatz, 3 I covered, and I would consider Blasters as well. It's a very good team. I'm hoping they will travel a long period this time. Number 4 is done, right? I need to pick
4 is done.
And GLCC, Pokeries, and I will watch for 2 more to go.
Yeah, 2 more to go.
And since you said quarterfinals, it's a tough ask. Let me see.
I was not going to give you a easy. Okay, KRCC. Okay.
And
that's 7. You have 1 more team.
And the last pick, I'm watching between three teams, but depends upon the experience and the way they play. It's tough. I mean, so I would give for strikers at this point in time.
Strikers, okay.
I'm honored.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, Parthiv is on cloud 9. He's on cloud 9 right now. You know.
There are certain things Parthiv will make some magic in the game, right? So that's why I watched.
Okay.
In fact, I would like to tell that I watched between three, right? Raptors, Patriots, and strikers. I mean, I have to lean towards strikers a little bit of edge there.
Okay, fair enough. Again, I just asked for your opinion, but again, what's up with Venu? How come Venu hasn't played a game still?
He has some commitments this season. Actually, he flew to India this morning.
Oh, is it okay?
So he's not going to come back until 2 months.
Okay.
But some other prior commitments, I couldn't get him to the games. But
Okay.
hopefully he's back next season.
Okay, because he's a fabulous player, and I hadn't seen him in any of your games up till now, and that's why the question to you was this thing. Next question: how confident are you of beating Blasters?
Beating Blasters, I would say we definitely beat Blasters, but we will definitely give a tough fight, as Hari already explained. Right, the game is going to be a cracker of a game, like how you already predicted. Definitely, we'll give some good fight to Blasters as well. But if you ask me the confidence level, yes, I do have confidence levels to beat the Blasters. But definitely they are a good side. We should be watchful, and then they definitely I consider that as a threat for now for the weekend. So I'm getting ready for it.
Okay. Hopefully you'll have your full team to go against them. After all, in a showcase game, we want the two teams to put out the best teams they can cobble together. But on a personal level, before I came on the show, I was on the phone with Mr. Maulik Patel and with a couple of other guys who were talking with me on a conference call. The question came up, KRCC versus Legends. And already Mr. Maulik Patel has asked me to start growing the beard and the mustache and everything, you see. I said, not yet, Maulik, not yet. I still have some hope. So, but look at the arrogance of the man. He says, by how many runs do you want KRCC to beat Legends?
Oh, okay.
I said, oh, you're so confident. He said, I am very confident. I said, how about 100 runs? Okay, done deal. Okay, so this is the conversation which has happened. Now, is that between you and me, Izzat ka sawal hai. I don't want to grow this stupid mustache or this whatever it is. You see, yeah, it's okay if you have the mustache, but I don't want to have the mustache. So whatever you do, you have to stand on your head. Make sure you get your best team to play against KRCC, because they are coming with so much confidence, saying that they are going to win this game, so much so that they were ready to challenge me by how much do you want to beat them. We'll beat them by that. We'll see if that is going to happen. But anyway, I just wanted to throw it out to you so that you're well prepared. I'm not sure when that game is, but that's obviously going to be probably another showcase game of the week, unless there is a even better game somebody else has. But I'm not sure at that point. But I do expect a cracker of a game on that one. Let me go to Hari Parankusam. I want to tell this about Hari Parankusam. He was the architect of Falcons. All right. So oftentimes, people hear me talk frankly about a lot of things, and sometimes it is good, and sometimes, I highlight some of the crap which they are doing, and I call it crap. But I'll tell you, I first met Hari Parankusam on the cricket field, and since then I've always had respect for the fact that this man did not rest day or night trying to cobble together some of the best teams ever cobbled together. And Glads versus Falcons, we had a lot of good battles, and if we lost some of the games, it is because of Hari Parankusam's ability to get great players. And I know that they give a lifetime achievement award and things like that, but I just wanted to say that most of DCL should know what Hari Parankusam's contribution to DCL is, because this man worked night and day. If without him, there is no Falcons. I'll be honest with you. I know on the cup, Venkat Vadnala's name is, the skipper's name goes on the cup, But if you ask me, there is a disservice there in the sense that I think, first of all, I think that cup needs to be replaced because that cup is breaking off. And Parthiv knows this. He handed the cup and the base was coming off. This is the 25th year of the DCL, and this is a DCL committee. You have so much, you're sitting on so much money. And if you're talking about great, big things and uniforms, I honestly think it's a crap cup. I'll be honest with you. That cup is not up to the mark. The quality on the cup, the base is falling off. You can't really, go around with it. They should spend good money and get a top-notch cup. And when they get this top-notch cup, honestly, I believe that, and I said this to Jagan some time ago, I do believe that you should put the team name, the year they won, the captain's name, and the owner's name, the team owner's name, because honestly, it is the team owner which really created the team. Without that team owner, that team is never going to exist. So in Parthiv's case, let's say if Kapil was the captain and let's say they won it, it would be so unfair not to see Parthiv's name on that cup. And I'm not sure if Jagan is the owner of GLCC. I'm not sure, but I do think Jagan's name should be on the cup if he is the owner of GLCC. I'm not sure on that one. But with regards to Falcons, when they won it, I felt bad that Hari Parankusam's name is not there on the cup. Now, if he wins this year, the whole cup, then the whole issue is redundant. But still, I still think that, you're being more inclusive when you include some of these people who made that team happen, because without that person, that team would not have existed. But that's just my personal view on that, because it gives an opportunity to be more inclusive and include the people who really made that team into what they are. Because when I think of Falcons, I can never think of anybody. I know that long back Babu Jogangada, he was there. And, Vijay Matta played and all these guys hogged their attention. But there was one guy in the background, and that was Hari Parankusam. And he was the one who used to go and get Maqsood. And I know that one year Gladys played against Falcons. He went and got 3 international players to play against us. And okay, great. How many people can say that? These are guys who have played international cricket. There was a Najaf Shah who played international cricket for Pakistan. And there's a tall left-hand guy is bowling. And that was one of the rare occasions where I picked Falcons to win the game. And I picked against Glads. And surprise, Glads won that game. And we didn't even have a good team. But I remember Hari, not the other Hari on our team, Dollar Dhanasekaran. Well, I made him the captain. And he used the fact that I picked against Glads as motivation to motivate the Glads players. But we didn't have Arjun or any of those guys. But what I'm trying to say is that look at the passion which is involved, that he was able to bring those kind of players to come and play for him, kind of a thing. So I'm glad to see, Hari, that you're playing these games, because honestly speaking, Hari, when you put in that much effort, you deserve the right to play the game. It should be you plus 10 other guys. Now there will be other guys. Last week we had Tejas who was saying that, maybe I should have retired and allowed somebody else to play. It's a bunch of garbage. Let me tell you that. And I'll call garbage, because if I was not there, the team was not going to exist. So if you are not there, there is no Blasters, there is no great Falcons unit and things like that. So you pick yourself and 10 other guys. And if 10 guys can't get the job done, then you know what? Shame on them. They need to look at the mirror and say, shame on us, because we could not get the job. Let's not blame this guy for it, because this guy did everything possible to make this team and cohesively bring it together. What more is he supposed to do? He has done everything, which is this thing. You couldn't get the job done. Whose fault is that? So I think it should be you plus 10 others. You should have the ability to bat wherever you want, do whatever it is. After all, it is, you're put in all that effort. And so I just wanted to say that. I want to put you on the spot.
Sure.
Why did you dump the Falcons? Because I don't think they knew until the last minute that you were taking Maqsood. And I was surprised when you didn't take Sai along. And I thought Sai was very close with you. So how come the Falcons got dumped at the last minute? Tell me that. I know that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So thanks, Viju. Thanks for saying a lot of things about me. Thanks about it. Thanks for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You
yeah,
deserved it. All right, you
yeah,
deserved
you,
it. So I did not embellish any one thing. Every one of them are facts. Nobody can deny it. Facts are facts. They stand on their own.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, when Parthiv asked the same question, like how did we end up having the Blasters team? So it's not like dumping Falcons, but the thing is, we have been playing together for like 15 years maybe with the Falcons, and later we have been playing this Blasters team, Stars team in Michigan Cup. So then we thought, okay, let's play this one Stars team into the DCL, and then see how it goes. So that's how it started. But it's not like I wanted Falcons to be there as well, along with the existing Blasters team, but things didn't work out. So that is the reason Falcons had to join FCC and playing together. But that was only the reason, but nothing more than that.
And I was just curious because I was wondering if they had the option to come along with you to Blasters, whether Vadnala and Srikant Gauni and Sai, they have played with you forever, you see. But Sid got to come with you. Maksud got to. By the way, that'll be a next question. But you got to take Sid with you. You got to take Maksud with you. And I think you took one of the couple of Ravi Teja with you, right? He was already a Falcons player. I think he was committed to Falcons, but he came along with you, kind of a thing. So, and same with Shan, if I'm not mistaken, he also came along with you, kind of a thing. So,
So
did the others have that option?
Like, I was open. So, anyway, Venkat wanted to, we wanted to have the Falcons to be in the league as well. So that's when the initial plan was to have Falcons also. But, we lack of available players or, whatever you say, then, they had to come up with, they had to talk, play in mix with FCC. So I don't say that Falcons is not there, because it's still there and they're playing with FCC. So they are Falcons and FCC. That is called the same club of both together. So I would say that name might not be there, but the team is still there. People are still there.
Well, the name also, you could say Falcons Cricket Club, FCC.
Exactly.
I know it is Farmington Cricket Club, but there was no way Vamsi was going to compromise on the FCC name. I know that. But having said that, yes, I do agree the Falcon players are there, but they are playing under a different name. It's not the Falcons name anymore. But I know that how much blood and sweat they have put in, kind of a thing.
Right, considering the team balance, right? That's what you're saying. It's a bit of a travesty to call it FCC.
But anyway, coming back, go ahead. Go ahead.
For your question, so Ravi Teja, right? Ravi Teja, I was the one who asked Ravi Teja to play for Falcons, and he played for Falcons because of me. So since I'm going there, obviously he was also part of Stars team. And when we talked about to put the Stars team in DCL, then he was also part of the team as well. So that's how he came up to, even Mahesh Mutiala was Stars player, Imti was Stars player, most of them are Stars players. And since Blazers guys, there are some other Blazers guys, which they cannot form a team, Blazers. So they said, I said, okay, let's form together, not separate the existing. They cannot form a team as well. They have, they will be losing Imti. They will be losing, a couple of other guys are not available from the Blazers side. So I said, let's, ask them to play with us. Then that's how the rest of the Blazers guys joined. And also I looked at, Sid was interested to play with me. So I said, okay, come over. And then Maksud also, since Falcons, by name, Falcons is not there. So I said, Maksud bhai, if you want to join me, it's up to you. But, since we have a good rapport, myself and Maksud, and he obliged my request and he joined me. And that's how, Maksud and Siddharth joined my team. And Ravi Teja, as I said, since he has been the Stars player, and then since he came to Falcons because of me, then since I'm not there, so he said, he came up with me. That's all.
Gentlemen, we have about a couple more minutes to spend on this segment. I'm sure.
Okay, I wanted to ask, how come Maksud hasn't played up to now? I'm hoping that he's going to play some of these key games, because I expected him in the KRCC game, but he didn't play that KRCC game.
Yes, so KRCC game, till now Maksud is injured. So he has played only one game in Michigan Cup. So most likely, I think he might not play this entire season, or maybe, not at all. So he has some shoulder injury. So he's kind of nursing on that,
Okay, and how did you manage to pull Deepak Giriyappa from Indus Thunders and into your team? I think the entire DCL league is waiting to hear the answer which is coming out of your mouth.
And I want to add to that question. That's very pertinent, Viju. So Deepak Giriyappa is a very specific case, yes. But I do want to ask, people like yourself, Viju, or in this case, Hari, since we have him here. What is it about you guys that enables you to build teams like this? Anybody can walk up to anyone and say, please come play for my team, doesn't mean it happens. But what is it you guys that you put together such a galaxy of stars in one team and make such formidable units that also seem to gel well together? How do you guys do it?
I do not know the answer which Hari is going to give for that, but at least in my case, I think when I approach a player, I think first of all, I look and see if that player is going to fit with the Glad's motto. You get my point? If it's a selfish player, I straight away do not even touch that player. It's very clear. If you play on Glad's, you have to be an unselfish player. You should be prepared. For example, I'll give you a classic example. Hardeep Singh is leading the league in batting, okay, until this week. This week, he didn't even get a chance to bat because the game got over before he could get to bat. So sure enough, he has dropped from the number 1 spot to the number 2 spot. Now, if Hardeep Singh can win the batting title, I'll be elated, all right? But I'm not playing a game to get Hardeep Singh the batting title. If that happens as it goes along. So Hardeep Singh should have that mentality wherein, hey, I'm a team player first. I only care about the team winning. And if I get the batting title on the way in the process of this thing, great. That's perfect. But we are not managing a game just to get somebody an individual accolade. But coming back to this thing, I think when I go and talk to a player, it's usually, I think people see that that chemistry and the integrity with which I approach them and also understand what is going on. And so that's where, that's what happens. And we are good at doing that, but we are also very selective in what kind of players which we add to this thing. But when I look at Hari is an equally good at that. So if both of us went after the same, player, I would say take a coin and flip it. It could be 50-50. It's as simple as that.
Because I can see there is going to be upheaval in a lot of teams if Hari gets his wish. And I have a feeling that he might well end up doing it. So Hari, please, yes, on to you.
Yeah, like as is whatever Viju said, it's a greatly, first I would say if he's a team player, if, if he can gel with the rest of the team members, because I really don't like a person who himself, he could be a star player, but he just comes and bats and go and instead of sitting and talking to the team, I don't like that one. I want a player, even though if he's not a star player, but an excellent player, I'm okay with that, but he should be a team player.
Agreed.
That's when I was able to get hold of.
That's a good point.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Hari, we can hear you. So that's a good point that both of you make. But that's
just a second. Sorry.
That's more about what you guys want. How do you get what you?
Personal rapport. I already answered that, at least from my point of view. It's a personal rapport. All right. So, for example, when I talked to you and we got you into Michigan Cup, or when Satya talked to you and things like that, it is a personal rapport between you and me, wherein when Satya asked me also and we talked about it, we looked at you as a player and said, does he add value to the team? Is he an unselfish player? How can we use him? And are we able to utilize him? And, what does he bring to the table? But it's the one-to-one rapport. I mean, people are not going to play for Hari Parankusam if he doesn't have that one-to-one skill. So give him credit for that he is excellent at that one-to-one skill. Without that one-to-one skill, he wouldn't have been able to get it done. It's at the end of the day, who is a leader? A leader should have that charm and charisma and chemistry to attract people unto himself. And if a leader can't do that, then he's not a leader.
Right. Agree. Did we lose Hari there? I'm not sure.
Probably. But anyway, I think there was only one. Yeah, I mean, he didn't answer the Deepak question, but anyway, we can ask him if he comes back on. You can ask him, but I think that's pretty much the question I had.
Agreed.
for
I'm
that.
personally well conversed with Sathish's charisma. He may not show a lot of it on his face, but it definitely comes across in his interaction with people. And
But
no,
there is a reason why I said who is the best game manager.
agreed.
Remember this comment which I made 2-3 weeks ago. I don't throw about compliments just like that. I don't believe in saying everybody is good and nice. I hate that. That's garbage. Okay, and if anybody believes that garbage, they are fool number 101. All right, let me tell you that. Here is the thing. Nobody. You have to understand. Why did I say specifically pick up Satish Palamakunda and said, after I left, he's one of the best game managers out there. He is. That is the reason why the legends are attracting that kind of talent. And again, if you look at the kind of talent which he has added good players, good team players, chemistry players, players who can get along with him, and they are performing well as a team. All right, so give him that credit. Now, if Satish Belamakunda wants to play and 10 other guys are playing with him, he has earned that right. All right. Nobody should grudge him that right. Simple as that. That's his right. Okay. I don't care whether he produces 0 runs or 10 runs or 50 runs or whatever it is. You get my point? That's his 1 + 10. That's it. Simple as that. End of discussion.
And that's something I've implored Satish actually at times. Satish, please don't keep pushing yourself back down to number 9 and 10, because I've seen the guy back then. He is such a sight for sore eyes. I mean, it's nice and elegant and very effective, which probably a lot of people don't realize because they hardly see the guy bat, because he just keeps letting the others take the limelight. But honestly, Satish, I think you've done a great job putting the team together, and we certainly wish you the very best this week against the Blasters.
Thank you. Thanks, Avi. Thanks, Vijay, for the kind words.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, just put on a show, baby. Last time also you put on a show, but Brownstown was unable to put on a show. But I think the Blasters unit will give you a tough fight this week. So hopefully the showcase game of the week will live up to its billing. But all you can do is control your side of the equation, right? So
yeah.
So it's wonderful. But again, credit it to your team, which is because they are achieving that they are getting that showcase game of the week. Just like that. Well, you need a little bit of luck in the sense that it depends on what are the other games going on that week to decide who gets showcase game of the week. But it is well deserved. So congrats.
Yeah, sorry guys, it got disconnected, so I just joined back.
No problem.
All right.
So Biju's question as to how you managed to get Banghera to defect from
not Banghera, Deepak Giriyappa.
Deepak Raj to from Indus to your team, and then we will go on to the next segment.
You see, I will say one thing. First of all, I know Indus name, Deepak's name listed in Indus Thunders, but he never played a game as Indus Thunder. Okay, that's
absolutely, yes.
Okay.
That's so, anybody can list anybody.
Yes,
until the person has played, that it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Unless he plays for a game or a season or whatever a match, then we cannot say that he's a Thunders player or he's some other player. Okay,
Agreed.
So I don't say that I got it from Indus. So I don't agree to that. I got it because he's Nagas is nowhere now in the league. So I've been asking not only Deepak but also Banghera to be part of my team. Because our plan was to include them in the Stars team as well, to make more better and then more challenging to any other teams. But things didn't work out because whatever the system we have there. So I've been asking them, and then things got, he said, okay, he obliged my request. He said, he'll be joining my team, and that's how he joined. And one other thing, there are some trade secrets or whatever, whatever Viju used during 2018 to get people. Shahnawaz and other folks. That's how end up getting this individual to my team.
Good answer.
I have no issues with that in the sense that everybody is going to do what is best for their team. It's as simple as that. That's what a capitalistic economy is, Avi. In a capitalist economy, he who works hardest makes the most money. So tomorrow, if Parthiv Mehta is making $1 million because he worked so hard and he has come up with a brilliant thing, more power to him. Why should I grudge it? He earned it. It's as simple as that.
So that $1 million is going to set a few tongues wagging, but now I know what sense. But
It's capitalism versus socialism. All right. So Satish Belamakonda, Hari Parankusam, me, all of us believe in the capitalist system. Same thing with GLCC. All right. We all believe in the capitalist system. Yes.
This is Vijay. I think there is something called a teamism.
Okay, what is the the teamism? The teamism or whatever it is, I don't know. That is Vijay Shanmugam. I don't know teamism. I know socialism, and I know that socialism is a failed system.
It's like sometimes we invent a new term, right?
So,
well, Vijay, welcome. I'm glad you announced yourself the way you did. So welcome. Good to have you on the show. But before we go on to the next segment, Hari and Satish, thank you so much for joining us today. Please feel free to stay on. We do have a bit of a spicy debate coming up with Vijay being here. But so if you have the time, please do stay on. We'd love to hear your opinions as well. But if not, please, you can feel free to leave. It's up to you guys. We'd love to have you on.
I will log off from video. I'll be on mute. But yeah, I'll be because I'll be driving home now. Yeah, go ahead, Vijay.
I just wanted to say, Satish and Hari, thank you for coming on. You guys earned this right, and you guys have done a fabulous job promoting the game. Congrats on that. All the best for both the teams. Go out and give us a blast of a game. Give us a blast of a game. Put on a show. The whole league is watching. Put on a show, baby. That's all that matters. Put on a show, because when you retire 20 years from now, or 15 years from now, or 10 years from now, whatever it is, you look back on these things and memorize, think about it, and these memories will capture your imagination.
Yep, we'll try to put on a good game, and let's see the best team win. That's all, on a given day. Yep, let's see how it goes.
And hope that the rain stays away. Okay.
Stays away.
Oh yeah, that's it's very unpredictable nowadays. Yeah.
Yes, give us a blast and make it legendary. That's all we can say.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
So much. Yes, Vijay. So as has happened on a few occasions, we've had the pleasure, I would say, of someone actually pinging us and wanting to voluntarily be on the show, maybe to raise a certain issue probably, but I will let Vijay Shanmugam speak for that. Vijay, of course, is the captain of Team Dynamites, and thank you so much for joining us this evening, Vijay. What that you have to convey?
Yeah, thanks, Avi, and thanks, DCL Prime Time. I mean, I think the only thing that I wanted to chime in and say is like we've been going through these umpiring challenges that we are facing, and it's really frustrating when an umpire is like doesn't know what he's doing, or he's over not seeing things and not in the game even, right? Like, so it's like one or two crucial wickets can change the momentum at any game. Yeah, we are not in playoff mode yet, right? I mean, these are like regular season games, but when we are fighting a tight competitions in these games, I think that there has to be some kind of a thing like, okay,
what do you mean when you say he is not in the game?
Like the umpire sees the ball, like it was a catch, and then he's like, I can't see it was a catch when he is right there. So he's like, I want to rule it on the favor of the batsman. How can that be? I mean, it's telling me like, okay, I don't know if it's a catch or not, and then it's like, okay, I'm not sure. I can make a decision, right?
Okay, and please don't mistake me. It's not like we called you on, we want to beat you up, but it's, just to that particular, just playing devil's advocate. And as I'm sure the rest of the gentlemen are waiting to do as well. So you mentioned, based on what you said, if the umpire didn't see the catch, then the benefit of the doubt has to go to the batsman, isn't it? Or do you think it was that clear cut that he wasn't paying attention?
Yeah, and we have a video, and that shows that was a clear catch, and then the umpire says, oh, okay. No, I can make a decision. And then he goes and consults a leg umpire when the catch was on the offside, which was close to him. How can a leg umpire see the catch? So again, I'm not trying to pinpoint one or two things, right? I mean, there were decisions that were, clear. The video can show it. It was clear stumping. Umpire didn't even see. And so I think there are like some things that we can improve as a league as we go on. I mean, we grew as a league for 25 years. It shouldn't come to this, like, because one or two decisions like that, I mean, you give that decision to Hardeep Singh, or you play against the, like when two teams, big teams clash, right? Like GLCC and Gladiators clash, and that decision makes and breaks the game. So what do you do? So I want to bring that to every other point. I'm sure that every other, even strikers may have faced it, Glads may have faced. So I think it's time to say that, okay, there is some kind of a thing that we can raise here and say that, okay, hey, that I know we are going through training and everything, but again, these things have to be like kind of a little bit, have to be, sharpen the knife a little bit here.
Vijay, can I just recommend one thing?
Yeah.
He's there. Here, okay, Vijay, here's the thing. I think when you just bring up this topic without giving the background information as to what specifically happened in your game, everyone, all right, is clueless as to what you're talking about. You see, so in your own interest, I'm just trying to, so that our audience, they don't know what you're talking about. You're just saying, oh, the umpire, this thing. But if you can be specific, then that would help everybody else understand what are you trying to talk about.
I think rather than talking specific, I think the bigger point is, which I think Vijay is making, is that there is a problem in which we face in every game for umpiring, and it may be different reasons. Different reasons might be, one is the umpire isn't too keen on coming to the game itself. The second reason would be he's not knowledgeable himself, or in some instances the umpires do boss around. Basically, even if a simple question like in our game, my memory has started fading. I've been here for 15 years, and rules are getting mixed up in my head. Even a simple rule like power play is mixed up in my head. Like in my first game, I remember, and that's come up, when my teammates were laughing at me. I basically, as soon as the first ball was bowled, I basically told the umpire, isn't that a power play? Doesn't two fielders need to be outside the ground? I mean, outside the field? And the umpire was like, dude, that is 2017 or 18 rule. Now we have a 90-yard circle.
So Partha is a committee.
Exactly. I mean, I basically admit that, basically I've just lost, the things have become mingled, and, I have to actually recorrect even a simple thing like whether a dead ball was in the rule book or not. I don't know. Like I've read the rule book maybe 10 times, but I don't know. But my point is, the umpires, I also agree that the umpires are not God. They don't know all the rules, but I think they should take the time to rationalize things in their mind before giving decisions. And even if they take the captains into confidence, make them understand why some of the decisions they made, if there's a question, I think this helps the captain to be at ease, rather than trying to say, okay, I know it, I'm going to give a decision.
So we felt the umpire was very biased in our game. He was very biased in our game, and I don't want to bring his name up, but like one of my best players, even like he got frustrated because he's been playing the league for 15 years, and I had never seen him get frustrated, right? And that was clear. I mean, even the opponent knows that was clear. But then, is this how we play the game? Like it's like, okay, I'm going to bring my umpire from another guy who I know, and I can win this game. That's not how it should happen. I mean, we pay for umpiring, right? We pay for umpiring for a reason that we get good umpires for the game. We don't get umpires.
But to be honest, Vijay, this is a league of players. So we are basically sending people from the league itself. It's just paid. The paid aspect is only that you don't have the headache of sending someone.
Right.
That doesn't mean we are going to find like Steve Buckner or Simon Toffel.
Let's have this debate, right? Like if you go to a restaurant, you see the reviews and say, okay, this is a good restaurant, and you go, right? I mean, if this is a family restaurant, I take my kids and everybody to go. So why can't we do something similar to, I mean, I'm not saying this season.
Yeah, that's a good proposal to have some sort of a review system. I think that's what we should be discussing.
That's what I'm trying.
Some of the ideas.
That's where my point was going, right? Like, how can we make this better? We need to have a review system, right? I mean, it's not the regular people, but we need to have a review system. Say that, okay, like I know out of like all the five-star restaurants, I only can go to these restaurants. that are in my pay range, right? So something like that. So maybe that's something we can develop with cricket clubs. Anyways, we are going with cricket clubs, and there is always a rating that goes on. I don't know, Vijay, what do you feel like? I'm sure you might have some opinions a little bit.
Well, without the specifics, it's a little difficult, but I think, no, I know some of the background because I was earlier briefed by two separate people on this particular topic. So that's why I felt, if you want to be specific, but coming back to this issue, I think umpiring has always been an issue all through the years. Every year we have this system wherein people say that, hey, the umpiring is bad, umpiring is bad.
We have improved.
Okay.
I mean, drastically. I no doubt about it. But
here is the problem, Vijay. Now, you're saying the biased umpiring. You see, that is a problem. All right. If there is a biased umpiring, that is genuinely a problem. All right. I think any umpire who should go for any game, at least when I used to go umpiring, I was very clear in my mind that I'm going to call it as I see it. I don't care whether somebody likes it or not. This is how I saw it, and that's how I'm going to call it. And I think that is every umpire should be doing that. But you have brought up a question saying that you felt that the umpiring was biased. Having said that, the person you are saying is biased umpiring, here is my own problem in the sense that if Glads were asked whether we would take that umpire, the answer would be yes. In the sense that in the past, at least I haven't felt he was biased umpiring. So how do you solve that problem wherein one person feels it is biased? Now, I do not know if that is a bias against your own team, but coming to the solution, I think DCL, at least in the playoffs, and this is something which I fought so hard for years and brought that to implement, wherein if you have made a playoffs, both skippers have the right to object to any umpire which is handed, and for no reason. They don't even have to give a reason. No, I do not want this. For example, let's say Vijay Shanmugam is coming to umpire a Glads game, and I don't want Vijay Shanmugam umpiring.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just using as an example because since you're right in front of me. So I can say, no, I don't want Vijay Shanmugam, and there ends the deal. Vijay Shanmugam will not be umpiring. I think that has given a lot of confidence to the playoff teams, wherein now the teams are agreeing that these two guys, are going to come in. And especially when it reaches the semifinals and finals, the DCL committee goes out of the way to make sure both umpires are completely not forced on the teams. You get my point? So that ends up in what happening is that the teams have that confidence that, the person coming is...
Let me again come through this, right? So now we don't, so if you take 5 years, 6 years back, there were dedicated teams, we had dedicated people, being in one team. Now people are like all over the team, like you see Blasters have, teams from every other team that have been distributed, right? So it is realistically hard to say, my umpiring is very bad. I don't want this guy because he played against me. So you at certain point, you cannot draw that conclusion because we are going to be a mixed breed at some point, right? Like all teams are going to be mixed to each other, except for few teams. But again, I want to see if that can be a system that can say real reviews, real input, and that can make the choice much easier. I don't know.
Vijay, here is the problem. Let's say that you gave a bad review for this biased umpire. All right. No, I'm just allow me to understand this. Let's say that you gave a bad review, but 10 other guys are giving good reviews. Now what happens? Now you please tell me what happens.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. I mean to say that, so there has to be a balance, right, with you. I mean, umpire Glads versus GLCC or Glads versus Thunders, right? The umpire gave a bad decision against you. I mean, Ronak got out, Hardeep got out for LBW. It was not out clearly. What do? And you lost.
What can we do? No, what can we do?
I think
that was the umpire we agreed. Yeah.
But I think with the review system, you at least have a way to win, right? Right now, there is no way to win. Right now, only thing, like I think most captains don't even bother of sending an email. After the Saturday game is over, you just forget it. You just basically move on. You have life after that, right? You don't
You
want to
just have
sit
to
and complain.
motivate your team.
Right, right. So there isn't a review system, and right now, yes,
Agreed, Parthiv, here is my question. How do you review? Based on, you can't tell the umpire, all right? Let's say I have given let's say Sathish is the umpire, all right? For example, 2018 finals, he gave Arjun Ajbani run out, all right? Arjun felt it was not out. I felt it was too close. It could be either way. Now, I don't have a problem. That is Satish Belamukunda's decision. He made the decision. It was out. It's out. End of discussion. Now, I go back to Satish. As I don't like Satish's this thing. As the captain, I say, okay, you know what? I would like you to review it. Who is he reviewing with? He's reviewing his own decision. Why do you think he's going to arrive at a different conclusion? If I already felt you're okay, go ahead.
Wait, Viju. I think you're mixing two things. The review which I was talking about is the review for an umpire after the game. A captain or submits a review, 1 star, 5-star rating, that kind of stuff. So now I was talking about that. Right now there is.
How do you? Okay, for example, he feels that this particular umpire is biased against his team.
No, like so again, I'm not trying to do that. I'm only trying to, how do we improvise this kind of system, right? Like, I mean, a lot of our new teams have expressed that thing that they felt. Now, how do we change that?
Okay, let's say you put a review system. And you gave a 1-star review, and everybody else is giving 5-star and 4 stars. Okay,
that's fine.
That is fine. But then that same umpire is going to come for you again, right?
That's fine. At least that is an average. That is the point that made. You get a
I think over a period of time you see that normalizing, right? I mean, yes, initially you won't see the difference, but over a couple of seasons, I think you'll start see the normalizing of that particular person. If you're talking about, I mean, if it's a one-off incident, yes, it will reflect that it was a one-off incident, and that happens in every review, right? If it's one bad day, no,
but if you want to put in a review system, you can easily do that with this new Crick Clubs app. I mean, I'm sure you could put in a review and just make it anonymous so that people are giving a realistic review. Because sometimes Vijay, if Vijay knows that I am the one giving the review, then I might think 10 times. Oh, Vijay is going to see what review I gave him. All right. Now I'm the kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy who I don't care what Vijay thinks or anybody else thinks.
And
but that's not. But if you make it anonymous,
I run a review for my company, and I say, like, you can tell whatever about me, but you don't have to be, because I need negative reviews too, so I can improve myself. That's the kind of system I'm trying.
Right. And I think there are two problems currently. One is, we all recognize that umpiring is thankless job. We all appreciate the time and effort. But I think somewhere down the line, we are losing that they are also responsible. I mean, for, with power comes responsibility as well. So you have to be, at least answerable to something. Right now, I think we blanketly, basically, whatever the umpire says is true. And I also believe like he should be the one you should first ask the question about. But also, I think they should also be put into some sort of a way to, be answerable. And I think a review system is probably one step in that direction, but there should be a way to kind of say, who's done a good job or who's done a bad job, kind of.
So, being playing in this league, part of you and, like everybody on this call knows that, we used to have so many discussions around this, like emails sent out left and right, blaming each other. So I'm not trying to blame each other. I'm trying to make how we can improvise the system. That's all I'm trying to say.
So if I may, so one of my peeves has been, and trust me, I have played way more than I have umpired. So coming from a player's point of view, I think one thing that should stop is we often tend to go back and say there was an example that happened in the Pokeries versus Punjab Warriors game where I think there was a feeling that the umpire was being a bit indecisive and was not backing up his own decision. I think partly the problem is because some umpires are just scared. It's because as a player, if an umpire gave me out, God help him, I'll immediately go bat in hand and accost him and say, Who the hell do you think you are? Why did you just give me out? Do you even know what an LBW is? Do you even know if it hit my bat? Go and check the leg umpire. It's so that is me explicitly telling him, I have no confidence in you, sir.
That
So
that exactly happened in my game too.
right, exactly. So I think that in turn, so if I was an umpire and I had you on one hand, say it was you versus Legends, you on the one hand, Satish is a gentleman. I know most of the times he won't do it. And most likely you wouldn't do it either based on what I've seen. But assuming both of you walked up to me, you had your hand on my collar and he had his hand on my other collar, I would just be terrified. And I'd be like, okay, now who do I pacify?
Hey,
Who
No,
Avinash,
I don't think that up to that limit happens. Yes,
Yeah.
there is arguments. There is, you basically talk to the umpire. There is a lot of loud voices, but I don't think it happens to the point where we threaten the umpire physically. I don't think that has happened.
I don't
Are
think. Look,
are we
that was an
are we
exaggeration. But what I'm saying is, if I have 3 or 4 players from both sides coming in and yelling in my face,
again? So
that is not done. So I would say, let the umpire do his job. But if he hasn't done a good job, and
Yeah.
yes, I understand crucial times, crucial games, it will be heartbreaking if you lose your game to someone else's incompetence and not your own players'. But I think that is where the review system comes in, where after the game, you've had the umpires have their say and maybe even protested. That's fine. I'm not saying don't protest at all. I have done that myself.
So, but actually, in our case, the review system will actually work in favor of the people, in favor of the umpires, because I'm pretty sure, at least in my team, nobody wants to go for umpiring. So everybody will want to get a bad review so that they are not sent to umpiring. So it's actually the reverse way.
I don't know, Parthiv. Let me tell you that the strikers umpire who came for our game, what was his? I forgot his name for the. It started with the P. Parag, right? Yes. He was an excellent umpire. Vijay Kamam sent an umpire from his team. He was an excellent umpire for a critical. So both umpire. All the umpires which we got were exceptional umpires this season. I have nothing against any one of them. I think they all did a fabulous job. Did one decision here or there?
So okay. I think that there is a so the system, when we have the system, will recognize good umpires. That's what I'm trying to say, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Vijay, let me ask you this: if we put in a review system, do you think that will help?
I think it's a start, right? It's a start, so we can.
Okay, so then, Parthiv is a member of the committee. Maybe he should take this matter. And I think the committee in the past also had put in this review system. We had review system in the past, but somehow in the last 2-3 years it got dropped off. You get my point? Either because people are not reviewing or not providing answers. But now, since you have an app, maybe you can provide an opportunity for the captains to put a review there.
I think that was the reason. I think it was difficult to gather feedback, accumulate it, and then kind of parse through all this data. And I mean, if you have an app which does that for us, I think it will help. And I think
just a click, right? And that's it. It's done.
Yeah, and I think one of the point you made, which triggered something which I was going to say, and I forgot now. It's on my tip of my tongue. What can you repeat what you just said? Maybe it'll come back.
Who said?
You.
What did I say? I'm getting to the point where I'm also getting old. No, I said that, if you have an app where you are able to provide that, and in the past we used to provide these reviews and then the reviews stopped because it was sent through emails and things like that. It was difficult to compile everything.
Sorry, now I recollect. I think you mentioned about, you getting good umpires. And I think one of the things which I have always done is I purposely from my squad, I make sure that I don't send somebody who I know is going to be a problem, who I know is less on the cricketing knowledge, who hasn't played DCL. So I basically send someone who has played and would do a good job. I think that is something which all captains, I think, should do is, you should not send somebody who is basically is going to not be able to handle.
But again, it's a matter of the paid umpiring, right? Like, I because I couldn't find players, and this was a paid umpiring thing that came in for me. I mean, it was not the regular team umpire.
Yeah, I mean, even the paid umpire pool, I think it's all basically the same players, right? I mean, there are people who are volunteering their time. That's the only difference.
But anyways, just saying, going forward, we can make it better. That's all I'm trying to say. Not trying to, draw anybody out here, right? Again, if it was a Glads versus any flying game, if that decision has been made, how would that be reacted versus, this game what I play? So, I mean, every team will have the same feeling. I'm just wanted to bring it to the highlight and see if that, we can do something like that. And Parthiv is there, so everything is going to be better.
Vijay, I don't want you to feel like your appearance on the show has been futile, right?
No.
I think the point we're trying to make.
No, I think more importantly, Avi, he brought a point up, and I think Parthiv is probably going to take this as a feedback to the committee and say, hey, can we have on the app a rating system? And if that has happened, then Vijay can. It will be all thanks to Vijay because he brought up the issue.
No, this point was actually made last year before COVID. I remember Ranjit had brought it up. He was very, very keen on setting this kind of a review system on so that we can track this kind of feedback and performance, and then use that towards even assigning playoff umpiring. Who's good.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So I think this has already been discussed. It's just that we haven't been able to put it into practice.
If I'm not wrong, this review system was implemented in 2018, I believe. I remember
Jagan paper-based. Yeah, paper-based or WhatsApp-based, I think.
Yeah, paper-based. It doesn't matter, right? Paper-based or WhatsApp-based, right? So now I don't really see any improvement will be there with the review system because that didn't work out that year.
No, I think
Sathish, I think what Parthiv and Vijay is saying is that if it is on an app, maybe people, and if it is anonymous, people will be more inclined to give a honest opinion.
Okay,
I do not know.
Yeah, my two cents. If I'm allowed to give my opinion in this topic,
yeah, sure, absolutely.
My 2 cents, with the format that we are playing, umpiring mistakes are inevitable on any given day. How about we improving our sport of cricket? Sportiness of the cricket in the interest of the game, right? Captains has to take some lead on such incidents, right? I kind of went to this game what Vijay is talking. I know what exactly happened, but I was not there exactly there when the incident happened. But I walked into the field after the incident happened. But I got to know about the incident. So I want to. What I'm trying to say is, how about this?
Satish, I'm not trying to. So again, this is not first time, right? So we've been going through this. I'm not just trying to pinpoint one game. I'm trying to pinpoint how we can make this better. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say, okay, this one game.
My point is,
Go ahead.
Yeah, my point is, none of the umpire will wantedly do these decisions, right? Sometimes things might happen just like that. The decisions.
That's where the difference is, Sathish, because he's feeling that he got a biased umpire. That is a different ball game altogether, because up till now we are talking about, all of us feel that the umpires who are coming are unbiased, but Vijay specifically feels that he got a biased umpire. So now that's a different issue altogether, right?
So if I had to ask one question to Vijay, you don't have to be honest or something like that, right? If that thing happened opposite to you, let's say if the umpire has given your batsman out in similar situation, and how would you handle that situation? If the opposite team of captain is arguing with umpire, how would you handle that situation?
Before this, 3 times I have called the batsman in. Before 3 DCLs, I have called the batsman in. We said like it's not out, right? Umpire gave LBW. We said okay.
No. Let me ask you this. In this particular case, let's say your batsman is playing, and he hit the shot to the offside, I think the covers region or wherever it is, and the umpire ruled it not out. Would you as a captain say it is out and call your batsman back? That's a very tough decision to do.
So again, my batsman.
Tell me how many captains in DCL will do that? Calling a batsman back is a different thing. But now you are saying, no, my batsman is out.
Okay, wait.
So he needs to come out.
Let me put it in this perspective, right? Okay, I don't want to pull this game out. What Gujarat Lions played last week with us, when Hardeep was clearly out, and Ishan Patel or who were this guy, Satish Gabba, he was given out by Kishore, and Satish Gabba went into leg umpiring, and Hardeep was walking out, and Satish Gabba was a leg umpire for Gujarat Lions, and he said, not out. He's not out. And Hardeep Singh, you're Hardeep Singh walking out.
Yeah, I know Hardeep Singh. I know Hardeep Singh very well. So what's the point?
So there is always this thing, right? When we are trying to build a team together, we are trying to build this momentum, and when such things happen, I want to raise the point. Like, I have never trained my team like that. Satish Shankara, he will walk out like that. Anybody in my team will walk out like that, and even Satish Bellamkonda, Dynamites will walk out. I mean, I have never fought for any of these decisions yet. if you know, I mean, Satish has walked out 3 times. Even the umpire didn't give the decision. He walked out. It was a nick.
And if you ask me, that's a mistake. Because in the long run, it evens out. Let the umpire make the call. Simple as that. I always was against Tendulkar walking out. The reason, I'll tell you, because there were so many times Tendulkar was not out and he was given out. Okay, so I feel, let the umpire make the decision. Whatever is this is something I talked 2 weeks ago about Ravi Narala, where I asked Ravi Narala not to do this nonsense. What is the umpire there for? That the umpire is there to make a call. Whatever is the umpire's call, that is the call. Or we have to agree before the game that we are going to play fair and square. But not every team does that, Vijay. That's the problem. You can't have different rules for different people.
So I know we are in a 25th year. I think we should be better than first year to 25th year, right? As a league, right? That's all. That's why the show is about, to make.
Vijay, even if it's 100th year, there'll be no change, man.
Yeah, Vijay, this is Hari. I just want to share one thing.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know what happened. The incident, which Vijay was mentioning about, but I've been playing this year from almost now 16, 17 years, maybe, or 15 years. So, I know every year there's always an issue about umpiring. It's not, we have been talking about it year in, year out, but still there are a lot of issues with umpiring. And I hope it gets better. That's what we've been looking for, but never been like that. Never got better after, these many years. The only thing is, we have to live with it. We have to live with it. At least what I would do is, in my game, before we start the game, I talk to both the umpires, saying that, I call the opponent team captain and then say that, hey guys, let's try to play a fair game, and then I'll tell to both the umpires, hey, just don't lift your finger whenever you get it out. Just don't lift the finger, because batsman gets only one chance, and the bowler get multiple chances. So so I'll say that, okay, if you have any doubt, don't lift the finger, go and talk to the leg umpire, and then make a decision. And once you make your decision, just immediately, then you cannot take it back. That way, at least we can, we can make sure that both the umpires.
I'm not trying to blame again. This conversation is more about how do you improve it. You have seen it for 16 years. It hasn't improved. Now we have the technology to improve it. Why can't we do that? It shouldn't be based on
Vijay, I know you have good thoughts.
Vijay, you want to know how much reach you are getting? I just got, here's the thing. I got a photo of the catch which was taken, all right? Of the catch which you're saying that the umpire said was
as well. I got the video.
You got the video. I just now somebody sent me the photo and said, yeah, so I just forwarded it because I don't know how to bring the photo onto the screen. So I forwarded it to Parthiv and to Avi, but I'm just saying, that's what it is.
So, this league, in the league games, this is what we have every year. But, when the playoff starts, when the captains choose to when the captains have luxury to choose the umpire, both the captains, that's when these things will will reduce, because we will pick
So,
the quality umpires at the time. But in the league
so,
games, it's very
so
hard to.
Hari,
Yeah.
again, my proposition is to bring that experience into the league games as well, as we have a lot of new teams coming up, and this shouldn't be like, okay, we have put up with this for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we want to make this better. I mean, you and me and everybody here who are senior enough to make this better can talk and deal with some things that we can make it better. That's why we are talking about this.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry. I really
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I think this is, yeah.
No, it's a valid point you've raised, Vijay. We've beaten the dead horse beyond a point. And yes, I think we all agree that there needs to be improvement both in the consistency of the umpiring performance as well as the behavior of the players as well. But your points are certainly well taken. I think implementing the review system will definitely help. Yes, it is a human endeavor. So there is a relatively high possibility of the gentleman that's coming to umpire your game probably does have a grudge against you from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whoever knows. And you might feel that there is a bias with or without reason. But I think that is where your point about making giving the feedback about a certain umpire comes in.
Yep.
I don't know if it is possible to ever avoid assigning that umpire.
That's fine. At least it's a start, right?
But that's where Parthiv's point comes in, wherein if he was that gentleman's captain, he'd probably think, okay, this controversy happened last year. I don't want to repeat that. Let me just send someone else. So I think it would require a concerted effort on all our parts to try and ensure that we aren't subjected to any umpiring misadventures in the future.
Vijay, I think just to clarify, Talha Asad was one of the umpires. I think that was just given to us on DCL Primetime. He's concerned whether he's the umpire, which is this thing. Just to clarify that he's not the umpire we are talking about, right? Talha Asad is one of the umpires, which was Talha Asad one of the umpires in your game? Yeah. He's concerned. All right, I'm just telling you, he's concerned that his name is getting a bad rap, or he just wants to say that I mean, hey, I umpired well. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, say something.
I just want to make this as very open as possible. I mean, I don't want to go into specifics, and like we are all professionals, we deal with professional people. So I think the people who see the shows understand what they know.
Yeah, I think people can go back. Those that are really interested in chasing this down, they can go back and find out who the concerned gentleman was.
Oh, I am sure, absolutely. People will look at the video. I haven't seen the video, but I'm sure people will look at the video. I even got people saying that, hey, if this is the kind of umpiring which we're going to get, we are going to give back. When we get to umpire, we will show them how it is.
That's not the point.
I just hope we don't get to that. I just hope we don't get to that.
That's not why we are talking about this.
That's what shouldn't be happening. That is precisely.
We shouldn't get to that, Vijay. And that's all I'm saying is that whatever happened has happened. But when we go for umpiring, we do our best job. I think you highlighted an important point. I think Partha will go and take it to the committee and see if they can get it on the app. If they get it on the app, I think all the credit should go to Vijay Shanmugam for bringing it up. Is there anything more we can do?
I don't know. I just wanted to improve to the justice.
I agree, but what more improvement? Don't just say improve. Give specifics. Okay, you brought a specific about saying that you give a feedback, or rate an umpire. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? But just saying that we need to improve is not the answer. Everybody will say we need to improve. But okay,
again, it's a start, right? It's a start. So we start with it, and then we improve based on how we get that, right?
All right. So okay. We have given this feedback to Partha. He's a committee member. He can take it back to fellow committee members. I don't see any reason why those guys will say no. We are not going to do it. You get my point? They probably will explore that. May not happen this season, but it might happen next season. I do not know. I'm not an app expert, so I can't say that. All I'm just saying is that, yeah, if I was a committee member, I'll say, hey, if it's something which is good, let's implement it, And I know Venkat and Vamsi and all Jagan, they are all interested in improving things. So I don't think they are going to look at it negatively as such.
Yeah, all right. That's all I need.
I wanted to, guys, I wanted to share important this thing which I've just got. Hitman versus Agni was played tonight. It was batted under lights. Batting first, Hitman scored around 120. FCC Agni scored around 80. And Hiten from Agni got 6 wickets. And Shashank from Hitman scored about 35 runs. So DCL side didn't work apparently. So they did paper scoring. But this is the latest update which we got. And I'm just sharing that out.
That's
They
great.
Hitman win.
And really,
Hitman won. Hitman won with bonus.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, with that, I think I would like to thank the other participants for joining tonight's show. I think we have about 15 more minutes to get through the review of the previous week's games and predict the next week's games. So that's the deadline I'm giving ourselves. I know we've let this go on for a bit, but thank you so much, Vijay, for bringing this to the cricket community's attention here. Hari and Satish, thank you so much again for joining us tonight. Good luck on your game, and a very good night to you, gentlemen. Thank you. So moving on, I believe we can go on to finish the previous week's reviews. Parthiv and Viju, I'm very sorry. I know this has gone on for much longer than we intended. I accept my responsibility in that. But let's try and hustle through this as much.
Parthiv, keep it to the bare minimum, and I'll try to do the same thing.
Okay. All right. So I think the next one we had on the cards was Brownstown Kings 11. I think this was a Mansab Butt show. Adnan and Mansab were both brought in. Rashid basically ensured that this is something that they absolutely needed to win for mathematically being alive. So Kings 11, I know, is a young team. Their strength is their batting. And they did, come back and fight, put on 130 runs. But after that Mansab show, and one thing I would need to check is whether this is like the fastest 50 in DCL or not. I know we don't keep records, but I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, Parthiv, I think that the Kings 11 players have never encountered a charging rhinoceros. On game day, Kings 11 saw a charging rhinoceros in the form of Mansab Butt. And when Mansab Butt gets going, he is an absolute treat to watch. He is magnetic. He's charismatic. He seems to soothe and hypnotize the opposition and the audience at the same time. He is an absolute treat to watch. On game day, Kings 11 bowlers paid the hefty price as Mansab scored 60 in 27 balls. That's it was one hell of an innings. And the effect was so great that all these pundits who predicted against Brownstown in last week's game, trust me, this week, all these pundits, whether it's Avi or Parthiv or Satya or me, are going to jump into the Brownstown Chuk Chuk Gadi, and Rashid has a new lease of life. Whether this is going to bring back Brownstown from the dead miracle, I do not know. But definitely, this is the team which I was expecting Brownstown to bring against Legends. This was a very good team actually, and so sure enough, it showed up on the scorecard too. So for the first time, Rashid had a very good team, at least on paper as well as on the field.
Great. Next up, Strikers versus Detroit Bulls.
All right. Yeah, this match was a great match from a cricketing perspective. It was close. We basically batted first. We scored about what we thought was a par score, 106. And Bulls were basically early on very in deep trouble. They had 5 wickets really quickly lost. They came back. They had a good partnership in the end, but they were. They fell short. I think this game is highlighted. You've seen a flurry of emails come through. It's highlighted because of some of the umpiring calls. Some of those were, questions which I believe my fading memory were because of the rules, and I wanted, I wasn't sure if that's even a rule. But I think it's taken in the wrong context of me just being in the position of the committee. People just expect that I just know all the rules and I shouldn't be even asking, but I'm a captain first, so I have the right to ask an umpire to clarify if I'm in doubt. And I feel bad that I don't know the rules, but that I'm just human. I accept that I'm still confused between a lot of rules because there's international rules, there's DCL rules, and within DCL rules across the years. So memory sometimes plays tricks with you. But to be honest, it wasn't something where I was saying it's not out, I was basically asking for a check in rules, and that's been construed in a different way around the dead ball rule, or the no ball rule of fielder standing inside. Yeah, I'm not sure how many it's 5 or 4 need to be inside, so those kinds of things. And that's something which I need to do. I need to refresh myself, so I'm going to spend this weekend, which we have a bye week, to go through the rules again.
Perfect. And looks like you personally had an excellent outing there. 4 wickets for just 19 runs of 5 overs. That's quite phenomenal. So welcome back, Parthiv Mehta.
Yes.
Avi strikers won with bonus. The man who was the bull master was none other than the #1 analyst in DCL, Mr. Parthiv Mehta. After seeing Parthiv shine with the ball, let me tell you how my fellow analyst Satya Velayutham felt. And Satya is not going to like this, but I'm going to say it anyways. He is going to give this Hindi dialogue, and I think a movie buff like Parthiv will know where it is coming from. But I have modified the dialogue a bit. He's going to say, fellow analyst, अगर top analyst हो जाए तो दुख होता है, लेकिन fellow analyst अगर man of the match and top bowler हो जाए तो बहुत
ज़्यादा दुख होता है.
बहुत ज़्यादा दुख होता है.
Yes,
anyway, I killed the last part, and so that's exactly how Mr. Satya is feeling, because it was the Parthiv Mehta show. It was a great win for strikers, and it was a top-notch effort for Parthiv Mehta. And now Satya Velayutham will have to answer the call and say that whether he can match Mr. Parthiv Mehta. But having said that, the big question which was raging all throughout, and I was asked this specifically, I was texted this by a fellow viewer. Please ask Parthiv this mystery of the ball bouncing twice before the popping crease, because the court of public opinion needs to know that how come Parthiv Mehta, who is a committee member, does not know that if a ball bounces more than once before the popping crease, it is a dead ball. It doesn't matter whether you hit a 6 or a 4 or a bold. It doesn't count. It is right there in the rule book. It has been there in the rule book for the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. I know that I was the one who wrote it into the rule book, and I went to great efforts to, put in the various scenarios as to the frame of reference, whether it is the popping crease or in the case of a batsman charging down the line, what the frame of reference would be. It got approved by Venkat Vadnala, Jagan, Mubassir Nasir, Vamsi Tulasi, and myself, who were in the committee at that point of time. So my question to my friend Parthiv Mehta, you might be the #1 analyst, but when was the last time you read the rule book, my friend?
It's been a while. I think it's been a while since I've actually gone through each and every part of it. And to be honest, it wasn't that I didn't know that there's a dead ball or a no ball rule. Actually, in ICC, it's a no ball, not a dead ball. But to be, the dot ball, I've played 15 years in DCL. I've come across numerous times where it's a shooter. The ball doesn't count. Exactly.
Yeah, and this rule was brought in to avoid that kind of a scenario wherein a cheap wicket is earned because it's a shooter. So right. Every batsman is going to like this, because okay, if it bounces twice before the popping crease, it's a dead ball. It doesn't matter whether the batsman hit a 6 or it got bowled. It doesn't count.
And I don't understand, why is Parthiv being put on the spot here? Because
because Parthiv, apparently the batsman was bowled, and Parthiv said he needs to go back into the pavilion, and I can see Parthiv.
I think yes. First, honestly, we felt that it was out, because time and again I've seen in DCL this balls happen. And to be honest, if this was a rule since 5 years, I must have lost so many wickets in my team just not appealing. I just tell my batsman bad luck. It happens. DCL, we call it the DCL ball, which doesn't.
Yeah, and this was to eliminate the DCL ball. Why this rule was brought into place?
Right. So be
honest, if Parthiv lost so many wickets, I feel sorry for him. Those guys paid the price.
Yeah, we never really appealed for a dead ball or anything. We just took it as just happened. Just bad luck, sheer bad luck, and the batsman had to move on. But in this case, when the umpire called it a dead ball, I basically was pretty sure that there is no dead ball rule in DCL, and that was my bad that I hadn't read the rules. But I didn't say that the batsman needs to go. I basically told the umpire, can you clarify? I'm not sure. Can you clarify in the rule book if you have it handy, or call a committee member so that I can verify it before the game moves on? Because I knew if the game moves on, one ball, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. So even if it took a second more, I just wanted the umpire to kind of just validate that situation.
And did the umpire just say, no, I can't do that? Sorry, Mr. Mayor, you are correct.
No. Initially, he was reluctant, as umpires do. They were like, I know everything. But then eventually, and we shouldn't have gone to the situation where we were adamant that you should need to check before we move on with this game. At that time, he called, and basically we validated. And once we saw that in the rule book, we basically said, okay, let's move on, But it was a simple case of somebody not knowing the rule and basically providing. Now, whether the onus falls on the captain to know it or whether the umpire can basically shed light on it, that's debatable.
I think part of the problem people are probably being more hard on you is because you're a committee member. If you are just a regular captain, I don't think this is that big an issue. But because you're on a committee member, you are held to a higher degree of standard. And they expect you to know every comma, every jot, every tittle of the rule book. That's the problem.
And also probably because they've all gotten an earful from behind the stumps when they were back.
Yeah, you got to take it back as well. So
right.
Okay.
So here was an opportunity to ram Parthu Mehta, and he got rammed.
Yeah. So, but anyways, moving on. FCC versus Troy Hawks. I think it was a bit of an upset in all of us' opinion. I think most of us.
I think it was. I think we all analysts had it split. I think me and Biju were Troy Hawks, and I think you and Satya were FCC. Yeah. And I think FCC. Yep. FCC batting. We talked about it. It hasn't got going, and this is exactly what happened. They weren't able to put up a good score. Troy Hawks basically chased it, and Troy Hawks is on the ascendancy, while FCC is kind of still staggering at the bottom. So it's good to see Troy Hawks really putting up and getting their real bet on getting to playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I see Biju's Viv Richards didn't do much this game, but everybody has an off game, so hopefully he'll come back.
But let me tell you, Avi, he wants to hear he is good, or he is very nice, or very good, or whatever it is. And I said that the last week itself, I said, Avi, I've said this before, the ostrich, and why ostrich is dead meat oftentimes, because it goes and buries its head in the sand when it sees a predator, and it thinks when it can't see the predator can't see it. And the next thing you know, it's dead meat before the ostrich even can lift its head, you see, and that's what it is. And last week, both Parthiv and I stated it very clearly that we were not impressed with the FCC batting, and that is why we went with SSK with our picks, and we were absolutely proved right. You know what, Avi, you've heard of Norman Vincent Peale. He said the trouble with most of us is that we would rather be ruined by praise than be saved by criticism. And if you want to hear you're good and very good and all that, we'll be happy to say you're good and very good and all that. But if you ask me, Avi, good is a very relative term. Let me put it this way. Avi, let's say that I have my, let's take person X. Let's not take me. Person X, okay? And you and I know person X, and person X has his grandmother at 500 feet away, and he is able to shoot her dead from 500 feet away. I would say he's an excellent shooter. He's very good at shooting, but I'm not going to say that he's a good man. You get my point? So good is relative. So let's understand that. So go and figure what you want to hear. If you want to hear you're good, by all means, we'll be happy to say you were good, but here's the problem. FCC lost. And last I checked, Venkat is a very practical man, and he knows that both Parthiv and I were spot on in our assessment of the FCC batting. Hey, I said Glad's batting stinks 2 weeks ago when we played against Punjab Warriors. And so that's the kind of person I am. If I see something which I don't like, I just call it as I see it. But I do believe that the FCC bowling spearheaded by Venkat, when I say Vadnala and Adiluswamy, Srikant, Gauni, Pana, Teju, they are all doing excellent job every week, you see, and including Tejas too. He's been bowling pretty good too. But the chances of Tejas hearing FCC was great in this game. Let me tell you something, Avi. Avi, if you went to to Arizona and you went to the Grand Canyon, and you wanted to present your lovely wife with a rose, and you took a petal and threw it into the Grand Canyon, and if you are waiting to hear the echo coming back from the petal hitting the ground, you'll be waiting for a long time and never hearing it. And so it's not happening from me either. I'm not calling them great when I don't think it was such a great performance, and I think they have to improve. And if you want to hide your head under the sand, be my guest. But at the same time, hey, you got to improve. Simple as that. That's the bottom line.
Point emphatically made. Raptors versus Dynamites is next up.
Yeah, this was the game I think we talked about a little bit in length. I think apart from the controversy which happened about, that umpiring being biased or some of the decisions, I think in general, I think Raptors are just beginning to get stronger and stronger. Their batting has been throughout the season. They've been scoring at 100 plus or 120 plus, if I would say. And that's mainly because of the Bahubali, Arminder Bahubali. I think he's been in ferocious form. If you look at his scores, he averages right now 44 in DCL, which is unheard of. And he's just, staggering score after scores. And his opening combination with Kiran, in this case, architected the win.
I think Amar had a great game also in the T20 in Michigan.
Oh yes, that's something which Pradeep had sent to me, or not Pradeep. Actually, one of my teammates had sent me before. I actually texted Pradeep Boda. He scored 164 in a T20 game here in Mishka. So yeah, not only just the DCL, but he's basically creating havoc pretty much everywhere.
And I think on this show we had brought up the fact that Kiran Boyanapalli was being underutilized by the Raptors thus far, but I think looks like he got his chance, and boy, did he deliver.
Yeah, and not only just the ball, I think with the bat as well. He's been performing like, I know he's always been a good bowler, but with the bat opening the batting, he's started to kind of contribute in great capacity.
Right.
And then if from a Dynamite side, I know they're improving. They have got great fresh recruits, which are helping them to kind of move the needle. It was unfortunate to see them, lag a little bit here. Sathish Sankara, who's their ever reliable Dynamite, and Sai got them back, but I think the score of like the 120, 130 was a little bit beyond their reach. Raptors, I still think their bowling is a concern. They're still leaking a lot of runs, more than I would want them to do. Scoring 140 is great every game, but then leaking 100 runs every time is not going to fare well in, as we move ahead into the playoffs, when you have better teams who can chase totals.
I agree with everything Parthu said about the Raptors bowling giving up a lot of runs, and I think Dynamites played a great game. And I feel for Vijay in the sense that his team played a great game. And if you look at it, the Raptor scorecard, you'll see that the person in question is Kiran Boyanapalli. He scored a 50. But apparently, what I have been told is that when he was on 16 is when the catch took place. And so if Kiran was out at 16, and apparently there is a video or whatever it is, and it shows that he was out, or there were people in the neighboring field also who saw that he was caught. But anyway, if all that is to be believed and all that, maybe the score would have been different. And so I can understand Vijay's grievance, wherein he says, hey, the umpire took the game away from us. So, but having said that, umpires are human, and so they do make mistakes. I do believe that if it was a genuine mistake, then it's what you have to live with. And but yeah, Dynamites played a good game, so let's give them credit for that. They at least got the bonus point, so that's a good thing. Raptors have played 3 games, they won 3 games, but they have lost the bonus in all 3 games, and it's something which they'll have to think about as to what's going on.
Right. No, final game of the weekend is Gladiators versus Rising Stars. I think quite a critical performance by the Gladiators, as we would probably come to expect from them. Quite a comprehensive win there.
Yeah, very, very, very comprehensive win. I think, I would say, one of the Patels knocked the Patels over. Ronak Patel, finally, I'm glad to see him amongst the runs. I'd mentioned that I think early on in the season that he's been having a couple of quiet seasons, compared to his standards. So it's great to see him amongst the runs. Aditya Bomaraju made light of the scoring. He once he gets going, it's basically just getting the ball out of the park. He the way he bats, he's super aggressive in his start, and once he gets going, it's very difficult to stop him. So I think Rising Stars, I think they would have felt a little bit that they were in the game when they scored 97, but any chance that they had quickly diminished as soon as the Glad started, and they basically finished it in no time. So great batting and bowling both by Glads, and I see a lot of new players, and that's something I wouldn't maybe Viju can throw light. I see a lot of new players who I at least don't recognize. Maybe Viju can help us with
some more from the Hamtramck pipeline.
No, Naeem Afridi is a guy who has always played
He's
for
good
Glads for ages. You see,
Okay.
he used to be he's the best fielder DCL has ever seen.
Wow.
I'm telling you, in DCL history, there has no in his prime. I'm not talking right now. Or in his prime, you could take Naeem Afridi just for fielding. He could cover an entire leg side area. Probably about 40 to 60% of the leg side single-handedly. Gautam from Megabytes wanted him just for his fielding. You see, so he's a player. He's been a star player for us for a long time. He's back in Lansing. He's playing for us. I think Aditya Karagadi is the new addition, but Avi knows him very well. He played for Pokhari's 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't he's over to your camp. I thought he was somewhere else. I thought he was not.
No, he's he was in the Knocker camp, but there is no team in Knockers, right? So everybody went somewhere else. But who else is there? Everybody else is Vignesh has been playing already last season also.
Maybe I haven't recognized him. Maybe I've seen him, but I don't recognize with the name.
So they are all playing. I mean, coming back to this game, I thought Anup and Aditya bowled really very well with the ball. But I think Ronak Q Patel, the problem was not necessarily Ronak Q Patel's batting. He was using the wrong bat. And he went back to his favorite bat. And every shot he was hitting was clean hits. And I think when you play with some of the Glads bats, you'll see that there is a huge difference between the bats which the Glads use, because they're really knocked and well maintained. But also it is his favorite bat. It's his lucky bat. Always when he has played with it, he has been he has played a great game. But I think Aditya Bomaraju, this is the first time he's holding a bat after 2-3 years. And so the rust was there in the first game, but this game he played himself in. Initially he was rusty, but once he got going, as Parthu said, it's lights out. It's 39 and 39 balls. And I think Rising Stars, they have a guy named Akash Patel. If anybody wants to add players for some of these other tournaments, he's a real good bowler. I mean, I saw the game live and I can tell you that guy is a very good bowler. But I think for Glads, Ronak Q Patel was the man of the match, and he really, I thought, played a fantastic game. It's the best I've seen Ronak Patel bat in quite some time. Again, remember, I haven't seen him bat ever since the pandemic took over. And so this is the best I saw him bat. There was not a single shot which was bad shot or anything. I thought it was a masterclass from Ronak Q Patel. I really liked everything which he was doing. So it was a fantastic game from him. For Rising Stars, their hopes should have been even higher, because on the very first ball, our opening batsman was out. But then Aditya and Ronak Q Patel put on an 81-run partnership, and that was all that was required. So it was a good game for Glads, I would say.
Right. Well, that pretty much sums up the weekend that went by. Thank you so much for putting in the effort and the analysis, Parthu, as well as Viju. And I believe we're going to do something slightly different for the predictions. I had Satya reach out to me, and I thought it was a pretty good idea. We'll probably stick with the commentary. I'll just basically share the list of predictions that we made amongst ourselves and highlight that on the screen. We still have Sathish, I believe, so he can chime in with what he thinks. But otherwise, I believe I'll just pull up that Excel sheet that we maintained. So that way, anybody who's watching the video can see how we predicted, and if anybody misses the show, they can go back and look at how we've all predicted. And I'll probably just run through it myself. So is this zoomed in enough? If not, how would we have to?
I think it's clear.
Okay, perfect. So This is the week going. So first up was, as we mentioned earlier, SSK take on the Dark Horses. And this is pretty much a clean sweep from all the analysts. We are all predicting in favor of the Southfield Super Kings, putting it past the Dark Horses. Sathish, do you agree with us?
Yeah.
Okay. So full power to SSK there. Thunderbolts versus Dynamites. Despite the Thunderbolts putting in some improved performances, this one again is a clean sweep in favor of the Dynamites.
Avi, I want to ask Vijay Shanmuga, how does he feel now that he got a clean sweep? All right. How is he going to motivate his team? Everyone has predicted Dynamites.
Oh, we still have Vijay and Hari
Vijay,
on the
yeah,
phone.
Vijay is muted. I don't know. But anyway, all right. I wanted to ask him that since he got
Sorry, Viju. Yeah. I think we rectify the mistakes from last game. I mean, one of the mistakes that we did was like we had a slow start, so we're going to rectify those things, and we're going to try to, come out a little bit more aggressive. And try to play.
My question is how before you could motivate your team saying that all the analysts predicted against us. Now all the analysts have predicted Dynamites win.
Additional pressure now.
Now there is pressure, you see.
So the only thing I say is like don't listen to anything.
All right, okay. Fair enough.
Thank you.
If you're still on the line with us, Hari, do you agree with this as well? Dynamites?
Yeah. I'm here.
Okay. You think Dynamites will put it up?
Yes.
So let me tell one thing. I think Thunderbolts is a very good team, and respect the captain that I heard him speak last time.
Yeah.
And you've got a couple of players, former Dynamite players, right?
Yeah, former striker players.
Yes.
That's a good comeback. Safaris versus UCA, that one has been split 3-1 in favor of UCA. I think their performance last week clearly having a bearing on most of us except Satya, who's predicting a win for the Safaris. What do you think, Sathish?
I predict Safaris in this game.
Oh, you predict Safaris. Okay. And Vijay? Vijay? I think you're on mute.
Vijay, keep it unmuted.
Yeah, sorry. So Safaris, yeah.
Safaris for you as well. Okay. And Hari?
Yeah, I think Safaris will pull it off.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, 4-3. 4-3 in favor of Safaris. Well, let's see if our number one analyst is really as good as we think he is.
I know, and the two of us have our fates pegged to his.
Yeah.
Indus Thunders versus Troy Hawks. I don't think there was much of a debate, at least amongst the analysts. We've all predicted in favor of Indus Thunders. Sathish, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Vijay?
I think again, close game. I'm pulling forward for Troy Hawks.
All right, great. And Hari?
Yeah, I think Thunders already lost, their last game. So I think they will be back, and they'll come with full force to beat Troy Hawks. And but one thing I should say in Troy Hawks, I think Pradeep, he's really an excellent batsman.
Right.
So yeah, so I think Indus Thunders will win this one.
And I think, yeah, like I said, we all tend to agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
Legends versus Blasters. Well, we'll come to that at the. Well, I guess we've already discussed the showcase game, so we can go ahead with this. Legends versus Blasters. This isn't going to sound very pleasant to Hari's ears, but we've all predicted in favor of Legends. I know which side Sathish is on. I know which side you are on. Vijay, it's up to you. Who do you think?
Well, having a Dynamites player in Legends like Guru, I think he's been excellent, right? Like he was excellent in Dynamites before. I think Blasters has a good team, right? Like they are collectively as a good unit. I think they have to pick up the pace, and I know Hari for a long time, and he's going to pick up the pace. I'll go with Sathish and Legends for this one.
All right. Well,
yeah, actually, Avi, I would like to switch to Blaster as well. It's not
really
okay. Yeah. I think, and the reason is because I just recollected some information which I just know. I know that Harish has a 40 game, and
Hey, you can't do that.
and
Purely
if he
based
doesn't-
on your best judgment. That's not how it's works.
So Satish, that is basically telling you that your team is useless as long as Harish does not play. So let's see or whether you guys will disprove that. And I will give you a chance to prove that on the field. Spartans versus.
So Satish is anyway. Change his prediction to Blasters, Javi.
Yes.
While you change it to Blasters, let me ask Satish.
For
Satish, are you able to convince your star player to miss the 40?
No, he's playing this year.
Change it, Javi. Keep it Blasters. Keep it Blasters. Okay. There's one chance for us to probably catch up.
Yes, change it to Blasters. I'll still go with Blasters, I think.
All right, so
My gut on Thursday evening is saying Blasters.
But this will be a very close game, Viju. I think this is going to be a epic game. I think
that's why we called it the showcase game of the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Spartans versus Brownstown, like Viju mentioned, I think all of us jumped onto the Brownstown bandwagon just based on their last week's performance. We hope they will not flatter to deceive, but what do you guys think? We'll go in the same order. Satish, Vijay, and then Hari.
Yeah, Brownstown.
Brownstown, Vijay?
Yeah, I'll pick Spartans.
Spartans, okay.
Yeah, I'll pick Spartans too.
All right. Interesting enough. There's some motivation there for the Spartans to prove a couple of the analysts correct from tonight. Detroit Bulls versus Hitman. Sir, you said Hitman had won a game today, Vijay? Is that right?
Yeah. I gave you the latest information which was texted to me. Guess what? I'm sitting 10,000 miles away, but people text me the latest information.
Well, that is, I guess. Yeah, right. So, well, not to burst the Hitman's bubble, we'll let them savor their victory tonight. But I think the prediction is overwhelmingly 4-0 in favor of Detroit Bulls. Do you guys agree as well?
Yes.
All right. Looks like 7-0 for the Detroit Bulls. KRCC versus Kings 11. Again, this this seems to be a week of clean sweeps. We are again predicting a KRCC 4-0 victory. Satish?
Yeah, KRCC.
All right, Vijay?
Yeah, KRCC. I think they are in good form. Yep.
Hari, I'm assuming you concur?
Yes, KRCC.
Perfect. Pokeries versus AR Phantoms. I don't want to say anything and jinx my team, but I'm still assuming this should be easy enough for the Pokeries. I hope to goodness they don't mess this up. 4-0 in favor of the Pokeries. But that was me as a host losing for a moment his sense of objectivity. But how about you guys?
Yeah, I think it should be 7-0 Pokeries. I don't think. I'm just praying AR Phantoms wins the toss.
Satish and Vijay and Hari, do you all agree?
Yeah.
I agree with Pokeries. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Punjab Warriors versus Canton 11. I'm hoping this will be a good game to follow, but just the way the Punjab Warriors have been going about their business, I'm thinking Canton 11 is going to canter home to a win, and so do my fellow panelists, at least the regular ones. What about you guys?
Canton 11.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will pick Canton alone, but I think Punjab Warrior are a good team. They are coming up. Again, if they can score a little bit more, they have to be more patient in the middle order. And if they can do that, they have the huge hitters, they can make an upset. But for this game, I'll go with Canton 11.
It's, I think, those huge hitters precisely that are a problem, because I heard one of the Punjab Warriors guy tell me, "Yaar, Avinash, हमारे दिमाग में ना सिर्फ boundary दिखती है." And well, the reason why they are trying to hit themselves either out of the game or maybe to victory, but so far it's been the former and not the latter. Hari, do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Vijay with what he just said. Punjab Warriors, I went for one of the umpiring in one of their game. They have a good team, and couple of batsmen, they have good batsmen, but if they can stand in the middle and spend some time, they can be a very great team. But the thing is, as you said, they only look for boundaries, which doesn't work in DCL. So I think, I'll go with Canton 11,
All right. Next up is the Sterling Strikers versus the other of Viju's favorite teams, Micah Thunderbirds. So again, I think this was a no-brainer. We've all voted in favor of Sterling Strikers. I'm assuming it's going to be 7-0 in favor of them, right, gentlemen?
Yep.
Right. And finally, again, I think this is going to be another 7-0 GLCC versus the beleaguered Rising Stars. And I feel GLCC have this in the bag and should come out with the match.
Yeah, I mean, GLCC is a good solid unit. I mean, there are like six. I feel there are 6 teams that are playing above the league right now from the rest of us. So GLCC are one of them, and yeah, they are going to do that.
Perfect. That pretty much brings the show.
I just wanted to say, Rising Stars. I need to give a shout out to Prashant Patel. Even though there's only 2 runs to win, 3 runs to win, he fought till the last ball. And Prashant Patel, absolutely great respect for him. He comes, bats, he bowls, he does whatever he can, but he fights till the last minute. So GLCC will get a fight, but yeah, the talent level between GLCC and Rising Stars is huge.
Yeah, Prashant Patel does have a little bit of striker's DNA, so he will fight till the end.
Parthiv always willing to take credit for anything and everything.
Hey Vijay, you know, like we've been playing for a few years and we know that.
Parthiv, keep going this way, and someday maybe a guest will hopefully call you out saying you only praise your own team. But anyways, I will leave that. So I just like to say this brings the show to a wrap. I know we were attempting to maybe go a bit faster this weekend, but we've had some good participation today. At least I feel today's show being extended was justified in the sense that we had a good animated discussion. Yes, as moderator, maybe I should have jumped in regarding the umpiring issue a bit sooner, but also I think today overall the participation was by far the amongst the better ones that we've had. So,
yeah, agreed, Ravi. But again, we hit close to 3 hours. We wanted to shoot for 1.5 hours. We simply can't do it. We simply cannot do it. We have to call ourselves utter failures in that aspect.
Hey Vijay, if we had a forum to do that, and we would have done that. I mean, I think we we need 2 DCL primetime shows.
Yeah.
No, then we'll make it 3+3. You know, all of us here. Here is the thing. Parthiv likes to talk. I like to talk. Avi likes to talk. We are all great talkers. We are natural talkers. That's the problem.
Joined by some very good talkers as well today, but
and then the guys who come also, they are also very pumped up. So it's a no-win situation. We can't hit the 1.5 hour mark. Not a chance.
Remember what you said in the primetime show. This is the show that we are going to make a difference, right? So yeah, I mean that's what we need.
Yeah, no, we're definitely trying to make a difference, and I think the view counts. Yeah, the view counts, and the audience is definitely saying that we're making a difference. So that's good.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, once again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It's been a real pleasure having you here. I have personally enjoyed this episode of DCL Primetime despite its length, and it was fun having you all on board. And wish you all the very best of luck for this coming weekend. Yes, you're all very good talkers, but you're even better doers. So we definitely wish you the very best and give us all good in training. Thank you. Take care.
Right. Goodbye, Sathish. Goodbye, Vijay. Goodbye, Hari. All the best in your games, and goodbye.